maybe. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning into the Nintendo Drive. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube, be sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Or, if you're getting cozy and listening to us on your podcast feed, make sure you're following and leaving us nice reviews. You can also support the show on Patreon and pick up some awesome merch. Links to those and more are in the description, but let's get the show started.
What's up, gamers? Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone. What a fine Thursday it is to talk about Nintendo with you all. Yeah, everybody's churning over here.
That's how you can tell it's Thursday.
That's right, because we are churning over here. I've got Locklith here with me. Hi, Locklith. And also we have very special guest, the Ryan Turford. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Seth. I'm back. I've found my way. I wormed my way back onto the show once again for another Thursday with Gravedigger and Bigfoot.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
And all your Monster Jam favorites over
Monster
there.
Jam, especially Sandstorm by Darude. You can't have a Monster Jam. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's just
know
do an
that song.
acapella. Yeah. Let's do an acapella cover of Darude Sandstorm here on the show.
That
Everybody
song
will
was
love
in
that.
Blade, I think.
No, it wasn't. My friend Evan from high school, he was obsessed with Sandstorm so much. It was the only song he liked, is what he said. And he would listen. Whenever I would go for a ride in his car with him, he would have a tape, and it was literally Sandstorm looped over and over and over again for the entire duration of the tape.
That rules.
Yeah. we would run through it, and then he would pull the tape out, flip it over, and again, it was the same thing on the other side. So it's just 60 minutes straight of
cool
Sandstorm.
Dude. That's a cool dude. Just listening to Sandstorm on loop. It's pretty sick to me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, well, I don't want to lollygag too much. We have this is going to be a packed show. We have so much to talk about. Ryan is here. Obviously, I kind of teased this in the Discord today. As y'all know, I talked about this last week on the show. I got to go to the Switch 2 hands-on event in Dallas. Surprise, Ryan got to go to the one in Toronto. And so we have got a ton of thoughts. Ryan and I have both played the Switch 2. We have put our hands on it. We've played a lot of the Switch 2 video games. And we have a lot of thoughts, and we're going to compare notes, and it's going to be super fun. But before we get into any of that, housekeeping. Got some housekeeping. A lot of housekeeping this week, actually. There's a lot going on around these parts. First of all, probably the biggest piece of housekeeping to get into, CPG Days is happening this weekend. That's right. Last week, you didn't even know it was a thing, and if you're listening on free feeds, it's already happened.
It's too late.
It's like it's a shadow drop. We're shadow dropping CPG Days, Seth.
I know. It was a thing. We announced it this week. Now, we've been working on it for far longer. We've been planning CPG Days since like January, you guys. It's been in the works for a long time. We try to do this every year. It's kind of a big like celebration of the community. It's going on all weekend. So it starts on 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, May 3rd, and we're also doing it Sunday. The first day is going to be kind of like us doing content and stuff all day, and then the following day is just community gaming. We're just going to be playing games with y'all all day long. The sort of like impetus of CPG Days is to celebrate the community and to, you know, announce and kind of talk about the future of carpool gaming, which we have a lot to talk about in that respect too, but also to allow y'all to help fuel the future of carpool gaming. You know, this stuff, you know, only exists because of y'all's support on Patreon, and so we are hoping to encourage people to, if you've been like on the fence or thinking about supporting on Patreon, we're hoping to give you plenty of reasons to go ahead and support on Patreon and support the things that we plan to do in the future, because we have a lot of exciting stuff cooking. And all of that support helps Carpool continue to grow, helps us make our ideas possible. It helps churn those ideas.
I thought it was relevant again.
I'm not going to lie, Cliff. Before you started doing that, I thought to myself, maybe I should start churning while you was talking about cooking.
Yes, be
like,
silly
and
like
then you beat me to it.
Yeah, we're cooking, we're churning over here. We got a lot of ideas for the future, and your support makes that possible. So join us for CPG Days this weekend. And support on Patreon. If you do, by the way, just quick PSA, choose to support on Patreon, please do so on the desktop version of the site. Don't do it on iOS because they charge you 30% extra, and it makes no sense. Just do it on the desktop site. We appreciate it. Speaking of Patreon support, we do have a new member to shout out. Thank you to the OG, the originator of the Soft J, Jonas Young, has returned to the exclusive tier on Patreon. So welcome back to Jonas Young. Thank you so much for the support. I am on the most recent episode of Pants, and Sean is up next. That's our weekly AMA podcast that we do exclusive for patrons. The Mini Indie Van, Fulia's dedicated mini indie podcast, is also in early access on Patreon. So you can give Fulia your feedback to that. You might want to look out for a episode coming soon that might feature somebody on this panel. Who's to say?
Most recent one also had someone on this panel.
Yeah, it could be anyone or anything.
It could be anyone. You know, the most bearded among them might be appearing very soon on the Mini Indie Van. So please.
I didn't know Ryan had a long beard.
Jeff Goldblum was on the show?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum was there. It was crazy.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I would be so upset if he was on the show and it was Fulia, because it's Fulia's thing, and I'd be like, why wasn't I there?
Yep.
She would. I feel like she would invite you. I feel like if Jeff Goldblum was going to be there.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But would I actually want to be there? I would actually probably be too embarrassed.
Fair. Yeah, be too shy.
He would just have his own face staring back at him through the camera as he.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. I think he would be delighted by that, actually.
I think he would.
He probably would,
get
actually.
a kick out of it. Yeah. So, yeah, we have all that going on. Mini Indie Van now on Patreon and early access. Give Fulia your feedback. You can get a 7-day free trial to patreon.com/carpoolgaming. We appreciate you doing that. We also have some merch up on the website, carpoolgaming.com. Not only did we recently bring back the spring collection, which is back for a limited time, but also we dropped earlier this week some CPG Days 2025 merch, which is now available on the website as well. If you want to commemorate CPG Days, treat yourself with some merch. In fact, hang on, let me pull this up here on screen.
Just load up Nutscape Navigator, head on over to www.carpoolgaming.com. You will see this.
Go over here, get yourself a CPG Days shirt. Fee designed this kind of like 80s inspired design here, and it looks really good. We got a couple different shirt options. We got some stickers. We got a mug over there. You can go to carpoolgaming.com, scroll down a little bit, and you see this banner here, and it brings it all up right there for you. So check that stuff out. That helps support us as well. You can even gift merch to Twitch chat if you don't want to buy it for yourself. Buy it for somebody else. Go over to one of the listings, hit this little gift to Twitch chat anytime we're live on Twitch, and you can do that. Very kind and welcomed way to support as well. So thank you all for doing that. I think that's the... Oh, wait, no. That isn't all the housekeeping. I still have one more thing. Jackie Chan Adventures. Episode 200 is next week, as it turns out.
It is.
If you're counting, if you're keeping score, this is episode 199 of the Nintendo Drive, meaning that next week is episode 200. So early next week, probably on Monday or something after CPG Days is done and we've breathed a little bit, I'm going to put the call out for people to send in submissions for episode 200. I want to make it like a big celebration, a walk down memory lane, celebrating 200 episodes of the Nintendo Drive. It's a big deal, and I want to make sure we celebrate it appropriately. I know there's a lot going on, but I want to make sure that episode 200 is still a celebration of the Nintendo Drive. So if you guys want to send in submissions or clips or voicemails or whatever you want to do, kind of get those prepared, and I'll put the call out for those very soon. I think that's it. I
Seth,
think I did it.
You and I have been a part of this since like episode 74, 75 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been here for a long time, as it turns out.
That's wild to think about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, I'm still here. Hi, hello, hi.
Yep.
We're still here. We've still made
Still
it. We're
here,
hanging on.
hi.
Yep. It's
That's
been a
right,
while, especially like out of the 3 shows that we started at the same time. Y'all made it to the finish line first. Y'all made it to episode 200 first. PlayStation Drive was like nipping at your heels, and the RPG Cave we're like 25 episodes back. We'll get there this year, but
they'll get there. Yeah. So it's it's a big deal. Like I want to make sure to honor that. It's rare for any podcast to hit 200 episodes. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, we're gonna honor that next week on the show. Please be excited. I think that's all the housekeeping we have. I think we're finally done. Ryan, you're a special guest. Why don't you tell us what you've been playing this week, my friend?
Well, I would love to, Seth. However, it's been a very busy week for me. In the span of 2 weeks, I've basically worked up the equivalent of about 100 hours. So didn't really leave a lot of time for gaming. But I did play something on the old Switch OLED here. I did play the demo for the 100 line, The Last Defense Academy, which just came out pretty recently now. Here's the thing. If people have been following along with my saga this year, I'm not allowed to buy games. I'm not allowed to buy new games until Canada Day, aka July 1st of this year. That's why I've been playing a ton of old games, which has been awesome. I've loved playing some old games, but I wanted to play this demo because I read the reviews for 100 Line. I loved the Danganronpa series, which the creators of those games went on to make a new studio, and this is kind of their big new game. And let me tell you what, folks, this demo is basically Danganronpa, but it's a strategy role-playing game instead of a detective game. Which I am here for because I love Danganronpa. So for folks that don't know or have never played a Danganronpa game before, it's a visual novel. And usually it involves these, high schoolers that are locked in a high school and they're forced to murder each other in order to escape. But this time around, you're not murdering the other high school students. Instead, you're 16 high schoolers that are locked in a high school that are like the last defense of this alien invasion in order to save the human race, essentially. But of course, as this game is from the Danganronpa creators, it's full of really dark themes. It's full of despair, some really really dark moments, but also just there's a lot of stuff that the story is setting up even in this first chapter, which is what they let you play in the demo. It's like 5 hours long, this demo, so it's basically the first chapter of the game. And there's just they're setting up a bunch of different stuff that I'm expecting later on is going to be like, it's like some secret, like some dark secret behind all the stuff that's going on. It kind of reminds me of Evangelion in a lot of ways as well, the anime.
Let's go.
Because it's kind of a very similar setup where you're kind of defending this one object that's at the bottom of the school that the aliens need to obtain in order to destroy humanity. So it's a really cool action RPG, strategy RPG. It plays similarly to something like Fire Emblem, where you've got your units on the field. They take turns, but then you're building up this meter that allows you to perform these super moves that you're seeing on screen right now. And you're kind of defending the barrier into the school for folks to get in. And what's interesting as well is when you fight bosses in this game, they do something very similar if you've ever played the game BioShock, where when you take down a boss, you get to choose to power up one of your characters by taking the life of the boss and absorbing their soul into your being. So it's such an interesting and unique experience, and I really love the demo, and it kind of breaks my heart that I can't buy this game for another 2 months because I kind of want to play it right now and play the rest of it. But
looks great.
If people play the demo and are interested in the full game, the save carries over to the full game, so you can just keep playing from wherever you leave off in the demo whenever you decide to buy it. But yeah, this game is awesome. And again, the reviews are very, very positive for this game too. So I know that a lot of other people really enjoyed this one too. So yeah, I can't wait to play this one.
Is that guy a tomato?
There was a tomato-looking guy. There he is.
A green tomato with the jack-o'-lantern face?
Yes, that is at a part I have not gotten to yet.
Oh, okay. Spoilers, sorry.
Yeah, fine.
So I'm looking at this right here, very Danganronpa.
100%.
This is Danganronpa, right?
To the
right?
point, Seth, where you have like, you'll start the morning, because you're basically staying at this academy for 100 days. And each day it'll have like a good night and a good morning message that you'll then go to this cafeteria to meet up with your friends. And then it does like the story bit. But then you have the free time segments, just like Danganronpa, where you can kind of do whatever you want to. You can go talk to your party members and get to know them better, or you can do what you're showing here on the screen, which is go explore the outside world. And it's kind of like
this is what I'm curious about, this board game thing. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at here?
Yeah, because the world itself is in ruins, and like you go out and look for supplies, and the supplies allow you to level up your other characters. But doing so requires an entire day's worth of stuff to be used. So instead of romancing or persuading, in this case, the other characters to like you, you then spend a whole day outside kind of leveling your characters. So it gives you a ton of freedom to kind of figure out what you kind of want to do.
I just like
Yeah.
That's literally my haircut right now.
Yeah.
With little rosy cheeks, just
It's
a little
me.
angry little person down there. Yeah,
It's
Lachlan.
me.
They just need the glasses.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You killed me with that one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it looks
man.
good. I would like to play this. I really enjoyed the first Danganronpa. I haven't kept up with them, but yeah, this looks great. I'm into it.
Yeah. Whereas I love the trilogy of Danganronpa games. I've been a big fan. It was the game that really got me into visual novels because I played it the first one on a flight to Japan on my Vita and fell in love with the series that way, and just I've been hooked ever since. So
Let's go.
there you go. So yeah, the demo's out now, and it's Switch exclusive, so you can go check it out.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
It
okay.
is. It is. It's not on it's not even on PC. It's just on Switch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was not aware of that. That's cool. Good to know. Okay. Well, what else? What else has been going on? Is that
That's it. It's just
Yeah.
it's been working the Canadian election, which has been
Yeah.
the crux of my week. But then but it's I honestly I got a chance to sit down and watch a couple of movies this week. But that's really about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Well, Lachlan, have you been playing enough video games for the three of us?
It's funny that I think Ryan should be on the show more often because, Ryan's good about playing actual Nintendo games, whereas me, all of my games are on Xbox.
I'm with you.
Excellent.
The only game I've been playing is a PlayStation game, so
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
So still with South of Midnight. I got to chapter 10, 11, I think. I believe. I didn't get to play it for very long because it was a shorter stream, but I'm excited to get back into that next week, Tuesday, because, we've got a fun-filled weekend this weekend, so no streams over on my Chanel. But I did play Oblivion on Friday last week, and it took me 3 hours
to make
do
your
the
character.
to do that, yes.
Amazing.
And to do the tutorial.
Excellent. So you got to hang out with Jean-Luc Picard for 3 hours in the sewers.
That's right.
I was in the sewers, I was in the caves, I was in the darkness, Ryan, for 3 hours. And
You
then
lived a good long time then in your game.
Yep.
You did all right.
And then once we saw the world and how beautiful it was, I was like, all right, that's the end of stream.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
it.
bye.
Who
That's all
needed
she
to
wrote.
see
I hope
anything
you enjoyed
else?
Oblivion.
Good God. I love Oblivion, so I'm so happy that you're playing it because back when that came out on Xbox 360, I put like 300 hours in that game. I have all the achievements. I love that game, so I'm so happy you're checking it out, but also a lot of other people in the community are checking it out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I did play it on the 360. I didn't play it nearly that much, but it does have a little bit of a nostalgia factor for me. That's why I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
Boy, was that download a long one. It took like 2 hours to download.
Oh, yeah. It's like 120 gigs, that
So-
game. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to ask though, Lachlan, since you're playing Oblivion, how soon are you going to be joining the Dark Brotherhood, the best of all the guilds in that game?
It's pretty great.
That's
that
the
a-
guild for all the people that like to murder people.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I don't know any of this lore, Ryan. I'm unaware.
The second you murder some,
I love how you go like this. Let's just take a moment.
Rubbing,
of course.
rubbing the hands.
The second
yeah.
you murder an innocent civilian, it will start this quest to join the Dark Brotherhood, and it's this whole thing, and it's awesome.
It
It's
rules.
one of my favorite
Yeah.
things in that game.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I avoided doing that because, baby Locke was probably too scared to just kill people. But like this Locke, adult Locke, she's going to kill somebody.
I knew
so like
you
maybe
would,
I will
I
do
knew
that.
You would enjoy that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
you'll
sounds
like it.
interesting. Ooh,
Yeah.
Well,
there's also
villain
like
era.
there's also like the Thieves Guild too, where it's acts similarly, where if you like steal enough from people, it'll trigger this entire storyline you go on, and it's really cool.
Oh yeah, Gray Fox. Got to learn about the Gray Fox and all that. It's
Yeah.
really cool. I love that game too. I will say, I started playing it as well, and I killed somebody completely by accident in Kvetch. And there's like this big like fight, and just one of the guards like ran in front of me while I was doing like a slash, and I killed him. And it's like the Dark Brotherhood takes notice of your deeds or whatever it says.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Which is fine. I was going to end up, joining anyway, but it was a funny way to be recruited just completely by accident.
I thought
right.
for a sec, Seth, what you were about to say was like you were in the middle of this fight, and all of a sudden the game stopped. It zoomed in on the guard's face. It's like, stop! You've broken the law.
yeah, exactly.
I don't like that. I don't like the quick pan and the zoom in on people's faces. I noticed that very quickly, and I don't remember that back in the day. But that's like startling. Yeah. Is that how y'all feel when I just like look at the camera and like
a little bit?
That's quite startling.
It's still got plenty. It is still the same underneath all the prettiness. It's still the same janky. Mm-hmm.
They said that on purpose.
Game.
That's a feature, not a bug. They wanted
totally.
to keep the jank there.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So very good. Well, I'm
but
glad you're playing it.
We got to admire the outside world for all of 5 minutes. And as I was admiring it for 2 seconds, I got attacked by a crab. I had to kill it real quick, and then we went back to admiring the world. So, yeah,
it'd be like that. Yeah, very good.
Yep, and I did beat Portal 2 multiplayer with Rybo. So that's another one checked off my list. I've beaten 10 games this year so far.
Nice.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Ahead of schedule for my 30 games this year. So.
Yeah.
But you're on pace for 40 games right now, Lachlan.
I could, but let's not get crazy. I'm a working gal now, Ryan.
True, but 40 games is Kevin Ainsworth numbers there.
Kevin doesn't have a job, okay? I have one.
But that's how impressive it could be. You have a job, and you'd also be 40.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did work overtime today. I worked an extra hour of overtime today because, I had to. Had to ask permission, but I had to. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Got to ask permission to work more. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but like it was more of a like, hey, like I have all these loads I need to schedule. Can I do it tonight instead of tomorrow? And he was like, yeah. I was like, cool.
Are they paying you more though? Because I
get paid more for overtime.
That's reason to do that then.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah. Very good.
It was out of my control. They gave me a bunch of work, so I was like,
oh no.
More money. What am I gonna do with more money?
Hate that.
I mean, I was the king of overtime this week, so I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, but very quickly, before I forget, speaking of money, aka money off, I went yesterday and brought my Switch Lite in, and I will be getting $100 off of my Switch 2.
Okay.
Dang.
Oh yeah.
Got the full 100 off. I forgot my power cable, and I thought for a second, because yesterday was the last day per the coupon thing that I had, and he said, he asked me if I had my power cable, and I was like, shit. I was like, no, I don't have it. I was like, I live close by, I can go home and get it. He was like, no, we can just do the transaction. You can bring it to me later. I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
pretty
thanks.
Chill. Yeah.
That's nice of him.
Yeah, that was very nice. So I'm sending Jamie tomorrow with the power cable to go send it in because I am a truthful person and I will send it in. I won't just be like, I'm not going to really do it.
Because otherwise all they would do in that situation is just bust open one of the like $5 third-party ones they have and throw that in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my dad's going to go and take it over there to the mall tomorrow for me. So
nice. Well, good. That helps. Yeah.
100 off. I made it just in time. I waited the last minute. Yes, but I got it in just in time.
Yep.
That works.
Got to get it in where you can fit it in, Seth.
That's right. I'm I know all about that.
I do know. I do know. You say it often.
Yeah. It's when you can say it's my catchphrase. I say it so much.
I think I say it more than you.
Definitely do.
That's funny.
Have you anything else? You've been playing anything else other than that?
No, just those. If I'm not streaming a game, I'm more than likely not playing a game because girl's tired. All this working, I don't know. It's for the birds, Ryan.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I will be brief because I'm kind of in the same boat as y'all. I have not played really much of anything, and certainly nothing on my Switch. I just got something that is embargoed that I'll be able to talk about in a couple weeks on my Switch. So I will be soon finally playing a little bit more of my Nintendo Switch, but I'm kind of in a holding pattern. The main thing I've been playing is on PS5. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, what a game. What a damn game this is. I love it. Like, again, it's amazing. It's so good. Like, I'm kind of blown away by it. It is like so again, I'm gonna try not to get on a soapbox about this. This is a Nintendo podcast, and I could probably talk about this for 30 minutes.
Briggs out a stool.
I'm very tempted to make Seth the full screen on here so he can go on his soapbox.
We have so much to talk about tonight, so I should not. I must restrain myself. But this game is amazing. It really is fantastic. It is an RPG that loves RPGs. Yeah, the Clair Bears. That's right. Which is what the new name for it in the Discord is. The Clair Bears for the Clair Obscur fans.
Just get me out of here.
Oh, I was like, what?
I love it. I think Croco Kyle actually coined the Clair Bears terminology, and I think it's great. But it's it has all of these different aspects. It's got a combat system that kind of feels a little bit like Persona. It's got a lot of Mistwalker, Lost Odyssey energy to it. It's got some Baldur's Gate 3 DNA in there. It's got some Dark Souls in there. It's like this pastiche of a bunch of different RPGs and ideas, and everything just comes together really well, and it feels like its own unique creative thing. The premise is amazing. The soundtrack is by far the best soundtrack of the year. It is incredible. The characters, the story, and just the emotions behind it, the humor of it. It's really funny. It's I have to stress, I hate playing my PS5. I never play my PS5.
Why do you hate it?
It's very difficult for me to carve out PS5 time.
Oh, because your wife.
Yeah, because either my wife is home and she's using it for, either Netflix or she's playing something on it or whatever, or if she's not home and I can play it, I'm working. So I never carve out PS5 time unless I want to wake up earlier or go to bed later. Clair Obscur is so good that I'm doing those things.
Oh.
I'm staying up past my bedtime playing it. I'm making the time for Clair Obscur. It's that good. I would not, when GUIs come around, y'all are going to hear me talking about this game. It's excellent.
I have a feeling, Seth, you will not be the only person talking about that, as I've heard, of course, Fee and Baza, who are currently in the chat, talk about it. And then, of course, I haven't played it yet, but I've been waiting because I knew this week was going to be busy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to not play it this week, but next week for sure it is moving to the front log and getting played. I am so ready to play that game. It's up there with Doom: The Dark Ages, which I'm super excited about too. But that's also a game that I would love to see on Switch 2 when it comes out, because I think that would be the perfect place to play a game like that.
Yeah, it'd be sick. It's also they released the thing. It's a fairly small team, all things considered. It is not a full price game. Of course, it's on Game Pass, but even if you don't, it's only $50 US. So it is not a full price game. It's also not a 200-hour RPG. It's kind of a 30, 40, 50-hour RPG, which is very appealing to me, and it's all the boxes. Check, 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 check. I have a couple of minor gripes with it, but overall, I'm having such a good time with it. It's all I want to play right now. It is so good. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Check it out. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it, Ryan, because it feels like an RPG lover's RPG. This game loves RPGs, so. And
also, the other reason I didn't want to hop into it right away either was, I just finished playing both Lunar and Lunar 2 last week. So, I just plowed through 2 giant old RPGs. So I was like, I kind of need something else right now. But I can't wait for that game. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
When I do get to play it. And I know Garrett and I will probably be talking about it a lot after we get a chance to play it. So.
Yeah, it is excellent. It is truly excellent stuff. Okay, Well, let's go ahead and get into things. We've got a lot to talk about, so I want to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and unpin this stuff here. Because of course, as I mentioned earlier, Ryan and I have had some hands-on time with the Nintendo Switch 2, and there's so much to get into. Before we do have a comment from Quaggy, who says, "It is I, the Quaggy, king of the Xenobabes." I don't have a question, but I want to shout out Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition before the door completely slams on it once Switch 2 is here. Y'all, this game is fantastic. I'm 90 hours in, and I'm getting depressed as I think I'm almost done. Please, Nintendo, let Monolith Soft make Xenoblade X2. That is all. Have a great show. Thank you, Quaggy. We had to stuff that in there.
Of course. Look, it'll be even better when I play it on back-compat on my Switch 2, when I eventually am allowed to buy that game, because I actually love that game on Wii U, so I do actually want to play it again this year.
That's right.
Yeah.
60 frames.
It's been like 10 years since I played that game. It's been so long. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Quaggy had to get that in, and we had to go ahead and mention that. But let's get into things. So, Ryan, you went on behalf of Carpool Gaming, Nintendo Canada. Thanks to them, allowed Ryan to go to the Toronto event as media. Ryan has a media badge, a fancy media badge.
It's right here.
That's right.
I held on to it.
I have this peasant's attendee badge here.
Yeah. We had different, when you got in there, by the way, Seth, the difference was there was like posted times of when you had to leave.
Right.
And my badge got to let me stay there like 10 minutes longer than you. So
you got to just hang out. You got to revel in it a little bit. But yeah, huge shout out to Nintendo Canada for coming in clutch, because I tried to get tickets. In fact, all of us in the Toronto crew here at Carpool, like myself, Jan32, Riley King, we all tried to get tickets and none of us could. But the Nintendo Canada came in clutch and let us come and enjoy the event. So I can't wait to pick your brain about this, Seth. I've been waiting like the whole week ever since going to this event and playing all these games to like talk about it.
Can I just mention, I knew the day that Ryan was there because Ryan actually used all caps in our CPG host chat. I have never once seen Ryan get so excited where they are using specifically all caps in a chat. I was like, whoa, Ryan, why are you yelling at me? But I'm happy for you.
I was so excited. I was so excited. And again, I don't want to give away some of the things I was excited about, because we're going to get to them. Put a pin in it for now.
But I just wanted to mention that, quick mention, that of course. Ryan was excited about it. All caps.
I mean, I couldn't tell anybody, because normally when I go to a lot of press events here in Toronto, there's a lot of press people I know pretty well now, because I've been going to press events since 2017. In fact, it's funny, this felt really nostalgic to go to, because my very first press event I ever went to was the Nintendo Switch 1 launch event before the Switch 1 came out. So I was expecting to see a bunch of people I knew there, but instead it was a bunch of French content creators that I'd never met before. So except Victor Lucas, I think he was the only one I recognized there. But everyone else, it's just a bunch of people speaking French. There was a bunch of French stations too, specifically for them. And I'm like,
oh, that's interesting.
I have to try and find an English one somewhere.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, I'm curious if your experience was very different from the way mine was set up. I'm kind of assuming they were similar. Yeah. But for us, and Ryan, you can let me know if this was different for you. Like we got in, we checked in, we were given wristbands that had colors on them that denoted what group you were in or whatever. And yeah, like you mentioned, we had screens around that said, hey, you need to be done by, like for us, we got there at 12:30. We got checked in probably by like 1 is when we actually like got into the event. And then we had, until 3:20, I think it was, to get out of there. Yeah. So that was how ours was set up, and we were given these gameplay passports, which I know you have as well. And yeah, there's 6 slots. So the way it works is you're allowed to go in, you play Mario Kart World twice, effectively. You play Grand Prix and then Knockout Tour. Then you are kind of opened up into, well, I guess before then, even before Mario Kart, you're able to like play with the Switch 2 itself.
Yeah, they had this whole area where the Switch and all the accessories and the boxes were all behind glass. You could go to an area where you could pick up the Switch. You could, they let you detach the Joy-Cons and then reattach the Joy-Cons as well, as like get a like, general grasp of the console itself. And also in that area, there's something else I was going to mention. Oh, the box, Seth. We got to see
Yeah,
the box.
box.
And the box, specifically, the Mario Kart box, it's just a sticker that say it's the Mario Kart bundle. A lot of people were like, oh, is it printed on the box? Because it looks so small. It's like, no, it's just a sticker that says it comes with Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I
it's the
did
same
take
box.
video. I did take some video here. This is us as my wife and I at the event, and there is you're brought into this room where there's like a couple of glass cases that have like all of the like Nintendo licensed accessories. There's boxes as well, which I think I touch on here in the video too. But also there are stations where there are like Nintendo employees that are like there to present the Switch 2 to you effectively.
Essentially, like, regardless of whether or not you were a media person or an attendee, like, there was always like a Nintendo person at pretty much every station you would go to like, hey, is this your first time playing this game? I'll give you more or less instructions depending on what you tell me to tell you about.
Yep. And I will say too, like, because this is kind of your first exposure. This is the first room they bring you into. Right away, and you know, like, this is maybe something I wasn't expecting. That camera is small.
It sure is. It was a lot smaller than I was thinking.
Way smaller than I was thinking. That camera is like the size of like a Gatorade cap or something.
It's pretty. You know? It's pretty sleek. Like, I was kind of excited. I pre-ordered the camera because like I didn't know if I was going to keep it because I pre-ordered it along with my other Switch stuff, but I think I'm definitely going to keep the camera because I thought it looked pretty cool.
And here
we'll get into camera stuff afterwards.
Oh yeah. Here's the boxes.
There's the sticker.
Yeah, it's the Mario Kart World bundle box is literally just the box, but it has a sticker that says, "Hey, Mario Kart World is in here."
I was wondering if it was a sticker or printed because I had to share that image with my dad to go and secure it, and I was curious. Yeah.
A lot of people were wondering about that beforehand, so that's why I'm confirming that it's a sticker. And JB chimes in the chat mentioning the GameCube controller looks so good. We're going to talk about that later. I'm really excited to talk about the GameCube controller later.
Yeah, Ryan played some GameCube stuff, and I also let me actually pull up my the video of us actually like holding and playing with the Switch 2 because that's probably one of the bigger things that people want to know about is how this thing feels. Like, we had a question from Antics. How does it feel to have finally played the Switch 2 for the first time after years and years of people saying that we just want a more powerful Switch? Does it live up to expectations? There's a question from Toxic who left a couple questions, but Toxic asks about the size difference, the screen, and stuff like this. So, Ryan, how did you feel about like the actual ergonomics of the thing, like holding it, playing with the new Joy-Con, the screen of it? What are your thoughts on that?
So the first thing I noticed, Seth, right away when picking up the Switch 2, bigger screen, same thickness.
Yes.
I could not, not notice that while picking up the Switch 2. But
that's right.
In all seriousness, first of all, first impressions of picking up the Switch 2, it's a little bit heavier than the Switch OLED, but not that much more heavy.
It really not as
OLED.
Much as you'd think.
No. Yeah. I mean, it still felt the first time noticeably different, but it's something that I think I'm going to get used to. But the big difference for me right away, Seth, was the Joy-Cons themselves, the Joy-Con feel.
Yeah.
Because for me, I have really long and kind of fat thumbs and long fingers.
Sure.
Kind of like I have like piano player's fingers, essentially. And playing on the current Switch, I'm always like, when I'm tapping the buttons, I like... Sometimes, a lot of times, like, I'll accidentally tap like B and A at the same time because they feel so close together. Like, it's harder for me to click on them separately because I have such big fingers. But I noticed with the Switch 2 right away with the Joy-Cons, because of the size of the buttons have been tweaked and the positions have been tweaked. I didn't have that problem at all with this like the new Joy-Con at all. Like, it felt more like the Pro controller with the way that they spaced out the buttons, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Because I mostly, with my Switch 1 now, I mostly play with the Pro controller for that reason. Like, it's harder for me to play in handheld mode because my buttons, the buttons are too small for my giant fingers.
I'm with you. No, I have the exact same problem. The SL and SR buttons being so much bigger is also a huge deal. Like, it feels like the way the Joy-Con should have always been.
Yeah.
Like, it should have just always been this good, this usable, and the thing that kept coming into my mind as I was kind of messing around with the Switch 2, the word that I kept thinking is satisfying.
Yeah.
Like it feels good to snap them in magnetically. It feels sturdy, which I was kind of worried about going in. I was like, these things are magnets. Is it going to feel kind of loose, hanging around in there? It does not. It is like very solid from my estimation.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're gonna mechanically fall apart or anything. I think they're much better constructed this time around, and I mean, you see it in the price. Like, it makes sense why the Joy-Con are actually so much more expensive now, not just for tariff reasons, but like they feel higher quality this time around than before.
Yeah.
But also the thumbsticks themselves also felt really good as well. They felt a little bit bigger, and I just overall I just really like the feel of holding and playing the game in handheld mode, because I don't know if you got to do this, Seth, but I did get to play Mario Kart in handheld mode as well.
I did.
And that actually felt really good to play.
Yeah, no, it feels great to play in handheld mode. Yarden's asking about like the width of it. I've not messed with the Steam Deck, so I can't verify, but like it is noticeably bigger, and the screen, it's like a 7.9 inch screen now. So like it definitely does feel wider, and like Ryan mentions, it feels a little heavier, but because it is bigger screen, same thickness as they've said.
Yeah.
Because of that, the weight is kind of like distributed evenly, I guess. Like it doesn't feel like you have this big bulky thing in your hands. It feels very like slick.
100%. Yeah. It felt really good to hold. And after I played Mario Kart for a couple of minutes, that initial like weight difference like immediately escaped my mind while playing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I also want to make sure to mention too, like, the magnets snapping in feels very satisfying, but it also feels very satisfying to detach the Joy-Con. Yes, Lachlan.
I just want to confirm, you said the bulk of it is nice, and it's slick.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
just all.
Yeah.
That's all. That is all.
I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Of course, you're welcome.
I see nothing out of place here.
This
Nothing
is why
that's
I'm
out
here.
of place.
This is why I'm here.
It feels like it feels just as satisfying to detach these things as it does to attach these things.
Yeah.
It's
The button itself is actually a lot bigger than I thought it would be to detach the controllers.
Yeah, I also, Ryan, I'm curious what you feel about this. One thing that surprised me about the new Joy-Con is the L and R and the ZL and ZR buttons. They feel like mechanical to me.
They do.
Like they're very clicky. Like it feels like a mechanical. Like it feels like a mouse. Like the clickiness of like a mouse. Like it feels.
I think
like
they did that on purpose because of the
Yeah.
mouse stuff, which I'm so excited to talk about that later because we played some mouse games, y'all.
Well, and I wasn't expecting that. Like I thought that the buttons would feel, to actuate the buttons, I thought it would feel essentially the same as it did on Switch 1.
Or even like the Pro Controller, because the Pro Controller is not clicking in that same way.
Right.
Like it's got digital controls on it. So.
Yeah. So like if you can imagine, like you've got these Joy-Con you're holding in your hand, and like it's this clicky, like it literally feels and sounds like you're using a mouse or something.
Yeah. The Joy-Con, current Joy-Con are a little clicky, but it's like these feel and sound a little even more clicky than these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also have made the L and R kind of wrap around the top of the Joy-Con a little bit more, so that it's easier for mouse mode to click and actuate that button. So yeah.
It really sounds like they designed them with that in mind. Like they
Definitely.
knew from the start, like, okay, this is a big thing we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm. It feels very premium. Like it feels very like they thought a lot about the way the thing would feel. The screen is also beautiful. I know that there are some people who were worried about the screen because it's on OLED screen. I'm here to tell you, not that big of a deal. It is very, to me, like as somebody who spent a lot of time playing my OLED and handheld, the difference is very like minor. Like it is bright, it's vibrant, it's beautiful. So
especially with Mario Kart, which was the game I played handheld, where it just that game is like oozing color and style, and it was very, very bright and colorful on the LCD as is. So I also thought it looked really nice in handheld as well.
Beautiful. Yeah. Like these screens have come so far since 2017. You know what I mean? Like it's you're not thinking about it like the screen of the original Switch just because it is an OLED. Like this may not be OLED, but it's pretty damn close in terms of the visual fidelity of it.
Yeah. I Can't See chimed in and asked about what it was like for big hands, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. I felt for someone like me who has like really long fingers, it felt really comfortable to use.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I have big meaty paws as well, and I agree. So
they sent the right people, clearly. The people with big hands to play the Switch 2.
They sent the big hand brigade to play the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And it feels like it felt great. Like if I had any minor complaint about the feel of it, I do kind of wish, because in my estimation, you can let me know if you disagree with this, Ryan, the joysticks on the Switch 2 feel size-wise more or less the same. Yeah. As the Switch 1.
They're a little bit bigger, but not by that much.
Right. Like I find when I play Switch 1, my thumb will sometimes kind of like slip off of the joys, and I can already kind of see that like that's probably still going to be the case. I understand why they did it, because also you have to consider that like you're going to be holding this thing sideways. You don't want like a big hunkin', joystick in the middle. So I get it, but part of me kind of wishes it was bigger, but
yeah, I think making the buttons bigger and even keeping the joystick the same was like the right compromise, because they could have done it in reverse, where they kept the buttons the same size, but then made the joystick a bit bigger. And I would much prefer like the buttons, be redesigned in this case. So
yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you
ready? Sorry, go ahead, Seth.
I think we're going to the same place. I was going to ask if you had any final thoughts on the actual like system itself before we move on.
I did. I know that some other system stuff will come up as we talk a little bit, because again, mouse mode and a bunch of other stuff I'm excited to talk about as we go through this. But I'm excited to talk games, man. So do we want to start with, because first of all, there is some overlap with some of the games that Seth and I played, but then also we have some different games that unique games. Like I played some stuff that Seth didn't play and vice versa. So do we want to maybe start with where they started us with Mario Kart?
Yeah, I think that's probably the thing that most people want to hear about the most. Yeah, Lachlan's got her Mario Kart shirt on, of course, in celebration. Yeah, so you're in this kind of like first room. For us, it was maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then what they did, I'm curious if they did this for you, Ryan. They grouped everybody up. They were like, hey, like we're going to enter into this next area in groups of 2. If you don't have a buddy, like let me know and we'll group you with somebody or whatever. I was with my wife, so we were already in a group of 2. Yeah. So
they didn't force us to group, but they encouraged people to group up.
I see.
But I really just went to whatever open station I could to play, which was the handheld station to start with, which I'm glad I did in hindsight, because the rest of the stations were not handheld at all that I went to. So I'm glad that I got to do that at least once in handheld mode with Mario Kart. So Grand Tour is where they kind of put us in first, and they didn't have us play against other players. They had us just play. I mean, you could play 2 players on the same TV, which I'm sure you're going to probably talk about. Whereas I was playing by myself in handheld mode. Like I wasn't linked up with the other players to play. It was just against the computers. But what did you think about Grand Prix mode? Because I thought it was, I'm not going to lie, Seth, I thought the Grand Prix mode was the more lackluster of the 2 modes.
Oh, it's for sure the more lackluster of the, like Knockout Tour is incredible. We'll talk about Knockout Tour is definitely the highlight of this game. But like I don't know how it was for you. For me, in our event, they had it locked to 100cc with assist mode on.
Oh, even better for us, Seth. We were locked to 50cc with all the assists turned on. So it was very slow. But they only did that for the first area with Grand Prix. When we actually did Knockout Tour, it was 150cc, but still all the assist stuff turned on.
Yeah, I think
couldn't turn it off
too. Yeah, we couldn't turn it off. Yeah. So that actually really messed me up.
Yeah, same here. Especially because like what I wanted to do, Seth, was I was trying to like do the wall grinds, hop on the rails and stuff. But like my cart kept swerving back onto the road because of the assist. I'm like, no, come on. Let me do all this cool stuff that you promised in the trailers.
I had the exact same experience. I was like, I want to try, and you'll see it. I'm like once we actually get into the game, I'm kind of like, and again, y'all have to think too. I'm trying my best to get footage at this event, And my wife is there with me, but I can't just force her to be my cameraman. She was at a couple of points, but she's there to play too and have fun. So I didn't just want to be like, here, take the camera. So I literally, if y'all can imagine it, I'm playing this. My phone is on a tripod and pressed against my chest while I'm playing it awkwardly like this. So I didn't do great, at least to start, because I'm also kind of getting a feel for the game. But once we get into it here, you'll kind of see like just the speed of it being like slower than I'm used to, because we were playing at such a like lower CC than I'm used to. That kind of messed me up. The assist mode kind of messed me up, but also the first thing I noticed, Ryan, the drifting feels quite a bit different.
It does. This game. It feels really different. Like it took me a couple of races to get used to it. In fact, I'm glad I got used to it kind of in the first area, the Grand Prix area, before doing Knockout Tour, because it allowed me to be much better in Knockout Tour after getting like some practice reps in. Because actually, we ended up being in the Grand Prix area for like 20 minutes. So
us too.
Got a lot of practice with it first. But yeah, the drifting, it was hard to actually get like 3 drift levels up.
Very much so. It feels like it takes longer. It feels like it's way tighter. Like, I don't know if this is coming through in the video that I'm showing here, but when you drift, your cart almost does like a 90-degree turn. Yeah. And like it's very tight. Like you can't take it quite as wide as you normally would.
In fact, Seth, there were times in like Knockout Tour when we were doing 150cc where I had to use the brake button. I never have to use the brake button, but like the drifting just, wasn't enough to get me around the corners without braking, which is very, very different. I'm not used to that in Mario Kart. Only usually at 200cc it usually like that.
Yeah. And it I was playing, so you played initially in the handheld. I played this one. They handed me the Joy-Con grip. That all felt great. It felt great to play the game that way. I did get to use the Pro Controller at several points, and we'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about the Pro Controller. But yeah, like it just, you know what though? Like playing the Grand Prix, my reaction was, that's Mario Kart. You know what I mean? Like, feels great. It wasn't until Knockout Tour that I started to say, okay, like we're cooking now.
And also with Grand Prix, though, the thing I found disappointing about it, though, Seth, and maybe, and I think yours is configured the same way, where it's like it did the entire Grand Prix in one race, and it just felt like one just really long race, and it just felt like it went on for way too long. Like that was kind of my critique for Grand Prix, was just it felt like it just took forever when it shouldn't have.
Yeah,
or like I'm just so used to like doing 3 laps of a race and then moving on to something else.
Totally. Yeah. Y'all could, I had to kind of like, I was trying to grind as much as I could, you guys. And it was so hard to do with the assist mode on. But the second I saw that I could like, oh, finally there's a rail like kind of in front of me that I could do. That's how you just like, you jump on a rail and you automatically grind.
Yeah. You can also hold down the jump button as well, and it'll charge a jump, and then you can jump up on the rails that way too, or on the walls. Assuming, of course, you don't have assist mode turned on.
Right. Yeah. So if you sit there, I came in second place. I lost to a Cataquack. And actually, if y'all could hear the audio, you would hear the Nintendo rep behind us being, how'd y'all lose to something with no hands?
But how are they even driving? Are they using ESP to control the wheel? What's going on
there? So that was funny. I will say, I want to give a shout out. The reps at our event were all great. Like they were all so friendly, just very attentive, and they did they do this, Ryan? When we entered into the Mario Kart area, they all like clapped for us.
They did that for us too. In fact, I'm wondering if you had like the same experience I did with the reps with Knockout Tour. We'll talk about that when we get to Knockout Tour. Because
well, yeah. Tell me about it. 'Cause I don't think we had anything super crazy go on with Knockout.
We had color commentators for our race for Knockout Tour, and all the Nintendo reps were like cheering behind us and stuff. Especially if you were doing well, like especially like Seth towards the end of Knockout Tour. Because spoiler alert for Knockout Tour, I did pretty well. I had an audience around me.
I did too.
I had an audience of like 15 people, including the reps and other people who would get knocked out, just watching me play that game. It was an experience. Like the floor was shaking because they were like stomping at their feet. They're like the reps were to like try. They were like, all right, keep going. They were going, and then whenever there would be like a knockout, and it'd be like like you have to be 8th place. They're like 8th place, 8th place, 8th place. Like they were cheering along with us. It was actually like a really cool experience.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's get into Knockout Tour. Because Knockout Tour to me, free roam's great, Grand Prix is great, battle mode's great. Knockout Tour, you guys, is gonna be like the marquee mode of this game. It is so fun. It is like it to me is like the height of like Mario Kart competitive play. This is gonna like change. Our community game nights are gonna be so fun with Knockout Tour. Like y'all are not ready. It's so like you got 24 people battling it out against, I think is it 5 or 6 races?
It is 6 races.
I think it's 6. Yeah, I think that's right. And essentially the way it works, for those who don't know, is you have to reach, it's a lot like F-Zero 99, you have to reach certain placements before you hit the gates and make it to like the next round. Yep. And man, it is so much fun.
It's like a battle royale in a lot of ways. It's a mini battle royale Mario Kart. And dude, I had a great time playing Knockout Tour as well. Like, and maybe part of the magic was playing it at the event, playing with 24 human opponents, all in the same area with like the Nintendo reps and stuff cheering us on. But it was so fun. But Bowser makes a good point in the chat, talking about how the downside to it, of course, being the eliminated people literally have to sit there and wait and watch. Especially if you were like in Knockout Tour, I felt, and I wonder if it was the same for you, Seth. If you got hit by anything, you lost so many places very quickly. So if you got hit by a red shell, probably when you were close to the gate where people were getting knocked out, that was basically your game right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, so Mario Kart World having 24 players, like any impediment, any loss of speed at all is a big deal. Like it can be the difference of like I'm in 2nd place to now I'm in like 12th place.
Yeah, like a lot of times, there were a couple times, Seth, where I was in 1st, I got hit by a blue shell, and I was in 11th.
Right. Totally.
Like,
yeah. Like
and
that
I'm like, what do I even do about that? I don't even have
chaotic. Like it is downright chaotic. I will say I'm going to play some footage. I did record my Knockout Tour session. However, I want everybody to enjoy Beard Cam because I'm sitting here trying desperately. We kind of got rushed to the Knockout Tour mode, and the way it works is as people are getting set up, you're actually just kind of dropped into free roam until everybody is like ready to go.
Yep.
And so I'm sitting there trying to record it with my phone pressed against my chest. So this footage is not good, but it is
exists.
footage.
It's better than no footage. Oh, I'm already
exist.
seeing the preview window. I'm like, yes, already. I'm excited about
There's
this.
Beard Cam, everybody.
But I'm glad they let us try free mode in the same way, but you didn't really get to do too much with it with the assists turned on, unfortunately. So, but yeah, it was cool to drive around a little bit. But let's talk about your Knockout Tour section.
So I was experimenting with this because we're waiting on people to get set up. There's like NPCs out in the free roam world, and I was like, what? Do I go to talk to him? I saw this little shy guy like down by the river, and what happens is actually if you go to run into him, you just jump off of him. You just bounce right off of him, which is funny. But yeah, while you're waiting on people to get set up, you still vote. Like you vote for actually like the cup, like the actual like set of races, and everybody votes for one. And then
it still displays what everyone voted for, but around the side of the screen.
Yeah, around the side of the screen, and it just picks randomly. Enjoy Beard Cam there. Beard Cam is really in full effect here. Yeah. But you know what I will say about free roam, even though we didn't get to spend a lot of time in it. It's very kinetic. Like there's a lot of things moving around. Like you see this elephant kind of chilling back here. Like I saw some zebras like running across the highway and stuff. It's very cool. But you get into it, and guys, like this is a series of races that like it is one right after the other. This is like a 10-15 minute battle. Like you're fighting tooth and nail the whole time. You're never slowing down. You're never stopping. And I will say for me and my experience, Ryan, I'm really glad I recorded it because it was tough, and it got down to it. I'm playing as Paullin, of course. It got down to the final two because it carts off. It's like first it's like the top 20 go on, then like 12, 10, 6, whatever it is. And then finally it's down to just the top 2. It's me versus DK, Paullin versus DK, fighting it out. And we get to kind of the end of the race. And if y'all are watching the video, even though it is beard cam, you can see how neck and neck it is and how like tough of a battle it is the whole way through. You're just struggling the whole time trying to make it and trying to get every little bit of ground you can. Eventually, we get towards the end of this race and I get a 3 green shell. I think it's coming up here after this next bend. And it felt amazing because, like you, Ryan, I had a small like crowd gathered around me at this point.
Yeah.
I get this bomb, I toss it, just trying to get rid of it. I nail him with the green shell, and I get first place, and I take the whole thing.
Oh my God, Seth! You did what I couldn't.
It felt amazing. It felt, and everybody's cheering and freaking out. It felt so good. It was a fantastic moment.
Seth, I also got to the final race.
Let's go.
I came in second.
Oh
no! I was playing as surfing Daisy in my boat cart, and I did not win, unfortunately.
Close.
I came so close, fun. But yeah, like I got knocked back. But it was a couple times though where I almost got eliminated because like really well timed items almost knocked me out, like really close to the gates. So. But I also really enjoyed it, and I'm with you, Seth. I think that's going to be the mode that everyone kind of clamors for, everyone wants to play, and it's also one of those things too where like we know from seeing the menus that there is no tournament mode coming back.
It seems like it. Yeah.
So as a result, I think this is going to be like the mode we will play with the community because like it seems like the best mode probably for 24 people, even if some people do kind of have to sit out after one race, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too because like this is gonna sound more braggadocious than I mean it, but it's like I don't know what that experience is like because
no, you and I both are in the same boat. They only let us play this once, and we both were in the final race.
I'm sorry, y'all. You know what? When we do this, I will sit and wait with you. Okay.
I don't mean it like that.
Okay.
It's just true. I don't know. Like I don't know what that experience is like. Bowser's like, oh yeah, I'm like that's not how I mean it. I just cannot speak to that experience.
Hair flip. Y'all audio listeners didn't see the hair flip that Seth did after that.
Seth and I are just too good at games, apparently.
Yeah,
must be.
Unfortunately,
you're too cracked at it. Yep. Well, can't imagine what that feels like.
I mean, the reason I say that though is because I wonder if they allow you to like back out and just free roam until the race is over if you want to. I could imagine that.
I wonder. I would assume so.
Yeah. But of course I wouldn't know. I'm just too cracked. I'm just
of course.
goat.
Yeah, same. Yeah. We're like just sipping our tea, all hoity-toity over here. We got our monocles on.
Yeah.
That's who we are. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ryan, any final thoughts on Mario Kart World?
It was a lot of fun. It's more Mario Kart. I can't wait to play the final game, but I think people are going to like this one.
People are going to be
pretty good, Seth.
Yeah, it's a good one. They did it. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to playing with the community. It's going to be a good time. But I think for me anyway, the next thing that I went to was Donkey Kong. Same. Yeah,
that was the same with us. They because they wanted everyone to play Donkey Kong. So before getting into kind of the free play area, which we'll talk about afterwards. So let's talk about Donkey Kong because I know people on the internet have opinions on this game, Seth.
Yeah, but it seems like
what we want to play.
Pretty like mixed opinions on Donkey Kong out there, hey?
Yeah, I think so. But I think after you and I talked about this briefly in the Discord afterwards, I think you and I both agree on this point, which is this is probably the worst way you could show this type of game because and I kind of felt this way about Breath of the Wild when I played it the first press event that I went to, where it's just where it was pretty much just like, all right, go to this area and go make your own fun and see if you can find some secrets. Because the demo basically ended very quickly. If you just played through the campaign, you basically play through this kind of tutorial area that you're seeing on the screen right now. And then it brings you to the kind of the second area that you plow through pretty quickly as well. If you want to, like you can go through it in less than 2 minutes.
Totally.
And then if you know where to go, and then that's it. The demo ends, but you can just go around and the Nintendo rep after I got to that point, because I played through it very quickly, was like, all right, now go find all the stuff in this area because you still have 18 minutes left in this demo. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I will say, Seth, first of all, there was a ton of stuff to find just in that one area. I was talking to the Nintendo rep afterwards about it. And they're like, wow, you're the first person all day I've seen who got every single secret in the first area in that 20 minutes. Because I just went and basically was like, all right, I'm going to destroy everything to find, because I found this like bonus mini game where you go in and you win a banana that way. There's extra secret bananas just hidden underground. There's a bunch of hidden treasure chests to find. Like, there's a ton of stuff to find in this game. Even just, like I said, even in the first area, like if I was playing like I normally would at home, I might have just skipped over a bunch of it. But because I was in the demo setting, I was encouraged to explore a lot more, and I found so much stuff. Like, by the time the timer ran out, I had pretty much found, like I said, I'd found everything. So.
Yeah, I was completely overwhelmed by this, by this entire experience, because of the setting. Like, you're here, you're playing a demo, and you have obviously a limited amount of time, but also because of the nature of this game, y'all, it is so, like, the destruction of it is like the whole thing. You can really just destroy everything. Yes. And like there's very few things that Donkey Kong can't just punch through.
100%. Yeah. And in fact, it was like fun in the demo, like trying to figure out, okay, what are the things I can't destroy and what are the things that I can destroy? Because like once you kind of figure out the textures of the things you can't destroy, it's like, okay, so now I kind of know the bounds of this game, and now I can see just how deep. Like I would just stand there and just try and just smash the ground to see like how deep I could really go, and sometimes that would lead me to like crazy brand new passages with stuff to find in them.
You're just wrecking shop. Like, it's hard to overstate like how crazy, because DK is not a slow, like, lumbering dude either. He's moving, like, he's fast.
Yeah.
And you're just running around. So the setup of it is it's A to jump, and then the face buttons are like essentially the directions. Like the X button is like kind of, your standard punch. Y punches up. Yep. Like DK punches up, and then B punches down. And so it really does, like, it kind of feels like the best like Hulk game that you've ever played or something.
Well, honestly, it really reminded me of playing a game like Red Faction back in the day. Of course, the first person shooter, Red Faction, which also had like its big key feature was destructible environments like this, where like I remember in that game like building tunnels to get like burrow around the enemies and attack them from behind. And you could do like similar things in this game. But the one thing I will say I wasn't super wild about was the combat, but we only got to see like very brief glimpses of the combat with like those floating enemies in the second area. But other than that, man, I actually had a lot of fun with DK. Like,
it's fun.
I'm glad that they actually kind of reined it in a little bit and made me explore a little bit, because like I got to see how much exploration there is in this game from that, and now my mind's turning thinking about like the rest of the game and like how much crazy stuff they're gonna have hidden underground.
Yeah, this is my wife playing. She's trying to kind of feel it out and figure it out. This is the second area. Like after you get out of the tutorial, they kind of let you into this big, kind of area. She's figuring out the DK can like grab pieces of like the land and like surf on it, kind of, which is sick. And then there's the floating enemies Ryan was talking about. Yeah,
but you can pick up like the ground and then throw them at the enemies. Like that's kind of like the big combat mechanic. You can also punch them as well, but it's fun to throw giant rocks at people.
Yeah, it's super fun. Well, and we found out later, let me see where it's at in here. We found towards the end of her demo, we found like a little hidden like challenge room, this right here.
Yeah.
Where you can go, they have these like little challenges. You can hold L to make music and break these seals and go into a challenge room. And by the time she got in there and got started, effectively the demo was over. We got this big little like thanks for playing, little red thanks for playing thing.
All the demos that we played, by the way, had like a set timer on them that had that thanks for playing come up automatically.
Yep. But yeah, it's fun. I do. You mentioned it earlier, Ryan, and we talked about this. I do think that this environment is just not. It doesn't demo well. Like it's not conducive for something like this, because you're just kind of like let loose and let free. I think when we get it home and we're able to kind of take it at our own pace, it'll play a lot better. But overall, like it was super fun, and I'm glad that this is coming out close to launch. I'm glad that this is like just kind of a month after launch, and I'm looking forward to digging into it. It is absolutely if it's not made by the Mario Odyssey team, it is absolutely in the same engine.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No,
Like,
I saw some people like hypothesizing it's like maybe it's not the Mario team after all. I'm like, guys, did we play the same game? Because like I really felt like it to me, especially like even when like the process of finding the bananas just felt like finding the moons in Mario Odyssey. Like it felt so similar. Like the gameplay pattern. Yes, there's a lot more digging in this one, but you're doing very similar. Like the play pattern's very similar to Mario Odyssey.
Very much so. Yeah, and it feels like the engine just you guys will feel it when you play it. Like it just feels like Mario Odyssey. The camera of it, the way DK kind of moves. Like again, I don't know if it's made by the same team or not, but it is absolutely in like a version of the Mario Odyssey engine. Yeah, you can make DK beat his chest there if you shake the controller.
Yep.
Which rules.
Yeah. So Donkey Kong, very fun. I had a great time playing it. But
yeah.
Also, this is our first time, Seth, playing with the Pro Controller. This is where I got to play with the Pro Controller for the first time. Do we want to talk about the Pro Controller now? Because
we should.
I'm not going to lie. I love the Pro Controller. Like, I was on the fence about pre-ordering one, but I decided to get one anyways because, like, maybe, even if it's just the same but has the new Switch 2 logo on it, it's probably fine. But then when I held it in person for the first time, I'm like, this is way different. And it feels so much better to play with. I don't know what they did, but it just ergonomically just felt so much better. I love the paddles on the back. Like, I can't wait to assign commands to them as well. Like, we didn't have anything that we played at the event that had anything assigned to the paddles on the back, but just the button placement just felt just right. The joysticks felt properly placed. Like the L and R buttons felt great. Like, dude, it's such a great controller.
It rules. So we have a couple questions. So Toxic said, how much of a difference was the Switch 2 Pro Controller versus the first one? Adam says, please sing the praises of the new Pro Controller. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and I'm glad that I pre-ordered one. However, my wife thinks it was an unnecessary purchase. Perhaps I can get her to soften her stance if she hears it get the Nintendo Drive seal of approval. So, yes, I'm happy to report, Adam, Toxic, this absolutely gets the Nintendo Drive seal of approval. This thing rules, man. It is probably the most comfortable controller I've ever used, straight up. Like, in terms of, you mentioned the ergonomics of it, but just like the material of it, like it has this kind of like soft matte plastic feel on the grip. But the sticks of the Pro Controller 2 are insane. I don't know what they did. They're so smooth. It's like they're nestled on clouds. Like it's crazy.
It felt so good to play, man. Like to the point where when I got home and I picked up my normal Pro Controller, I got all sad. I was just like,
I don't want to play with you.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Yeah.
But I know I have to for at least another 2 months. But dude, that I was not expecting the new Pro Controller to be as good as it was.
It rules.
It felt so good to play every time I played it, because there were multiple games that we'll talk about from the free play area where I also played with it, and even just, I will mention the D-pad even feels a million times better on this new Pro Controller than the old one. And I'm someone who plays a lot of fighting games or 2D action platformers and stuff, so that makes all the difference in a lot of those games. So I'm very, very thankful for that controller. It's
very
awesome.
Happy with it. And again, I understand you guys. It is expensive. Like, I get it, and it's even more expensive now post tariff pricing and everything. I totally get it. But if you were on the fence about it, don't be. Like, it seems like it's going to be worth the upgrade. Like, it rules.
If you ever dock your Switch, it seems like a no-brainer to get down the line.
Yeah. I just, again, those sticks, like, you guys will know what I'm talking about when you feel it for yourself. Those sticks are incredible. I don't know what they did. Like, I've never played with joysticks that felt like that felt that good. It rules,
dude.
So
it's great. But so Seth, now that we've talked about DK and Mario Kart, are we going to talk about the free play area? You want to talk about the games you played in the free play area?
Let's get into it. So they have this big free play area with a bunch of games, both first and third party. Ryan and I played different games, but you essentially can play. You have this little gameplay passport that gets stamped, and you can play 6 games, right? And they stamp it, and then you move on. So which games did you get to play, Ryan?
Well, Seth, I think we should start with the games we both played, because there's a couple.
Sure.
There's a couple of ones. I mean, you already know the game I'm most excited to talk about.
Let's get into it.
Y'all, these hands have played Metroid Prime 4. Oh my freaking God. I was so excited to see it there. And Seth, it lived up to the hype. I loved this demo. Mind you, it was only just the first like tutorial level. I can already tell the rest of the game is going to be so much better. But we got to play it at 1080p, 120 frames.
Yep.
At my event, and I'm assuming it was the same for you.
Same here. Yep.
What was cool as well is that this one didn't have the Pro Controller; it had the two Joy-Cons separately. But this was the first game I played with mouse mode.
Yep.
Interesting enough. First of all, it's beautiful. It's Metroid Prime. We already knew that from the trailer from before. It's got this big epic open cutscene. But when you hop into it, it feels just like Metroid Prime all over again, which is exactly what I was hoping for, of course. Especially if you played the Prime Remaster, you already kind of know how the controls are going to be set up if you're just going to play just normally on the Pro Controller or with just the Joy-Cons. But Seth, mouse mode. Mouse mode was so good on this game. Like
mouse mode rules.
Like I loved playing Metroid Prime, the trilogy on the Wii with the pointer controls, and this was the closest experience I had to playing that on a new console, where it felt super responsive. You could adjust the sensitivity settings in the options menu to make it, because at first I felt it was a little bit too sensitive, so I went and tweaked it a little bit, and I found it just right. And it felt just buttery smooth, where I was just picking off enemies like clicking around like it was a PC first-person shooter. And this demo was everything I was hoping it was going to be. Beautiful, vibrant, awesome combat, great mouse controls, scanning, like, dude.
Yep.
Metroid Prime 4. I cannot freaking wait for this game. This is, I mean, everyone knows this already. It's my most anticipated game of the year. I've been waiting for this game since 2017 when it was first announced. Although really I've been waiting for this game since 2007, which is when Metroid Prime 3 came out. But dude, I can't wait. But what did you think about it, Seth? Now that hype levels have just escaped off the charts.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, I think it's great. Same thing. One thing we should say, the mouse control in this game. So yeah, we played with detached Joy-Cons. They just kind of have them sitting there. And this is, to be fair, the optimal way to play because they have like a chest high table that is just a big mouse pad,
of course.
Yeah. So and you've got these like beautiful, 120 hertz, like 4K TVs and everything. So, we're playing it very optimally, but still, 120 frames Metroid is just it's beautiful. It runs great. It's smooth as butter, but it's so cool the way it works because you can play it just with a detached Joy-Con like you normally would, but all you do is you just put the Joy-Con on its side and you're just automatically in mouse mode.
Yep. And it was so seamless. I tried a bunch of times where I just flipped it up. Immediately out of mouse mode, flipped it down in mouse mode, and just back and forth. And it was really easy. In fact, there's a game that really utilized that later that I'll talk about that also in mouse mode. But this game just felt like it was designed with mouse mode in mind. But also like Metroid Prime has always really worked even without it. So I still think it'll be fun even if you played on Switch 1, just use the traditional controls. This demo was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. They have you play essentially like the opening. If you've seen like the treehouse stuff, we played essentially that same demo
with the first boss as well, which we fought which was the same one from the treehouse. And he was pretty easy. Like I loved how they fumbled on how much they fumbled on the treehouse, but dude, this boss was so easy.
Yeah, it's not too difficult. He's got shields up. You just got to hit like the exposed, weak spots. And I will say the only thing that I struggled with mouse mode was this boss has a couple of attacks that incentivize you to go into like Morph Ball.
Right.
And I didn't find that it was super comfortable because you have to hit a button to go into that. Yeah. And that's not really when you're doing mouse mode, that's not where your thumbs are naturally,
Right. Yeah.
So I found myself kind of picking up the Joy-Con and using that whenever I had to go into Morph Ball and then putting it back down.
Interesting, because the way I kind of equated in my brain, because I of course have played a lot of World of Warcraft on PC, and I'm used to having a mouse with multiple buttons on the side. So so it almost felt like that to me, where it was like I was playing with like an MMO gaming mouse in a lot of ways. So I'm just kind of used to that already. So it didn't bother me as much, but it's interesting to hear you say that, Seth.
Yeah, like that's me kind of like struggling with it. Like, oh right, like I have to have my thumb over here, you know, in addition to everything else. So that, but yeah, it wasn't a hard boss. It was, you know, just kind of your tutorial boss, but super fun, you know, well designed. And they did have you do a couple of things. Let me see if I can find it in my footage here real quick. There are a couple of like locked doors that you scan. And yeah, you scan them, and then like you aim like the, you know, like kind of independently. You know, like you can kind of lock in and then aim independently. And there's my wife trying to get some mouse mode footage of me, you know, so yeah.
Because you mean to tell me though, Seth, you didn't just scan the boss to find its weaknesses like every Metroid Prime game?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I did that with the enemies and stuff, and I was just like, I have to fill up my log, the scan log. That's a big thing in Metroid Prime. But yeah, it was already a game I was really excited about, as y'all know, but like this just shot it over the moon for me. Like, I am so excited to dive into the full game down the road. But Yarden has a question for me. It says, question for Ryan. Is this the first game in a long time that gave you butterflies when you started playing? I think so. I think the last game I really had that feeling with was Metroid Dread when that came out. Because, I'm a huge Metroid fan. Everyone knows it. So it's just every time I play a new Metroid game, it just gives me those feelings in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Except for even Metroid Prime Federation Force, Seth, you know, gave me a little bit of that, but not as much.
I liked Federation Force, actually. I had a good
I
time
didn't hate that game. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I was fine with it. Yeah.
There are worse games. I've played I mean, for God's sake, Seth, I've played Cheetah Men. Okay,
that's true. Yeah,
there are worse games out there.
Well, let me say this though, Lockleth, you're recently getting more into shooters. Is Metroid Prime 4 doing anything for you? Hearing any of this? Are you interested?
It's on my list. Yeah.
Interesting.
It
It's like
is.
that's the thing. It's not like a standard first-person shooter. It's like a first-person adventure game. So there's a lot more exploration and stuff like that than
And
a normal shooter.
that's what I'm excited about. Plus, it just looks gorgeous. So
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to play it in 4K. Like that. Like it was
yeah.
interesting to see it at 120 frames at 1080p, but I can't wait to play that game at 4K 60. It's gonna look really nice.
Yeah, beautiful. Feels great. Can't wait to play it. Yes.
Also, just one quick note about this event, Seth, is that none of the demos that we played allowed you to invert your controls, which of course for me is a big no-no because I have to play inverted. They removed the option from the menus.
Well, that sucks.
But for someone like me who when I play PC games, I don't play them inverted. For some weird reason, if I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard, it clicks into my brain that I don't need to play it inverted.
Interesting.
But when I'm playing it with a controller, I have to play inverted. So one of the easy fixes for me when playing a game like Metroid Prime 4, where I can't invert the control, Seth, was to play it in mouse mode because I felt really comfortable playing it in mouse mode. Whereas I was playing it with the Joy-Cons inside, and I was like pressing up, and I was looking up, and I was like, "What is going on?" And the Nintendo rep was very confused as to why I was confused as to why that was happening. So
another thing that I'll say too. Switch 2, at least with from what I've seen, and I didn't play the GameCube stuff. I know you did.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
I know that at least with the GameCube stuff, you can at the kind of like system level and user level change your controls. So like you can go in there and finally play Wind Waker, Ryan.
Yes, absolutely. Like that's a day one release. I'm actually pretty excited about because I can't buy games when the Switch 2 comes out, Seth. But I do have a Switch Online subscription. So I can play, Wind Waker. It's going to be awesome. So, yes, I can't wait. We'll talk about GameCube in a second. But, Seth, I know there was one other game we crossed over with that we should talk about that also used mouse mode.
Yes.
Drag X Drive. We got to talk about Drag X Drive, Seth, which is the wheelchair basketball game.
Yeah, how did you feel about this one, Ryan? How did you come down on Drag and Drive?
So, first of all, I know a lot of people were down about the aesthetics of the game, being like very gray and very drab looking.
Sure.
But in person, when I was playing it, I actually didn't mind the aesthetics of the game. I thought it looked fine.
Yeah.
But this is the type of game where I could tell instantly from playing a round of it that this is the type of game I'll play twice and I'll put it down and never play it again.
I'm kind of with you. I will say, like, we've talked about, like, kind of the environment, because I did get a little bit of B-roll of, like, other people playing it, because I couldn't film myself, obviously, full body doing this.
Of course.
Like,
because look at all the motion. Look at what you have to do.
Yeah. You need, like, the full area, you know, to play with, because you're obviously using both Joy-Con and mouse mode. And it's the kind of, like I gotta admit, I was actually impressed with how fun I felt like the controls were pretty fun, actually. Like, once I got used to it. But I'm with you. I'm like, I'm probably going to play this a couple of times and never play it again. And I still wish that the game had more personality, you know, and like visual flair to it. But it's a neat idea. But it does kind of feel like a tech demo.
It really does.
You know,
it really does. Like it almost feels like I'm playing, you know, Wii Sports basketball and nothing else.
Yeah,
with the wheelchair. And I'm doing this over and over and over again. It's just this constant motion, Lachlan, of us just doing this over and over and over again.
It's why I'm working. It's why I'm going to the gym, Ryan. Working out these guns for this game.
You got to work on drag and drive.
Yeah. You got to get, you know, bulk up for drag X drive, or sometimes doing this to turn right, or this to turn left. You know, but ultimately, like, I liked the unique gameplay design, because again, like, it's very unique, like a very unique game. I
agree.
Playing like a wheelchair basketball game, I thought it was that the idea and the concept of the game is cool. It's just, it's just the gameplay itself just wasn't super fun, honestly. Like, I like it was fun to, like, pick up the ball and throw it, but it's like it was really easy to score baskets because it's not really like it's very casual in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I just wasn't really into it. But at the same time, this is a game that I feel like just because I'm into it doesn't mean there's not an audience for this game. Because I think, like, maybe this is the type of game, like, if the Switch was priced correctly and a lot of kids got their hands on this game, I think kids would actually really enjoy this game a lot.
Yeah, like, well, I had fun in the moment, because you're in kind of like almost an arena setting. You're playing with other people, and we actually had an amazing moment to end on. I'll share this clip here in a second, but it's like I don't know, like just some of the little ideas in there, the little ways that they have kind of made this, like, this cross section of competitive and casual. For a good example of this, when you go to shoot the basket, when you go to actually do the basketball component, you obviously pick up the Joy-Con off of the table, or you can actually, they did say, like, hey, you can use, like, your leg, any flat surface, you can put the Joy-Con on and use that way. So that's cool that they did that, and it worked well, actually. I did play that way a little bit. So you can do that.
They did advertise that works for any game too. It's not just this game. So if you want to play Metroid Prime 4 on your leg, like, you could do that. It works.
Or like the arm of your couch or whatever. Like, you can get away with that, you know? So there is that. And I did want to make sure to mention that, but there's little concessions, like, you know, all you really, the way that it, the way that it determines if you're making the basket or not is your, like, distance from the goal and if you're facing the goal or not.
Right.
And the more precise you are, you know, looking at that, you see a little bar underneath that kind of, like, fills up, and it's kind of like your likelihood of making the shot effectively.
Yeah.
So
that's why I got so many 3-pointers, Seth, because the game I played wasn't even close. I think I had like 30 points because I kept getting 3-pointers.
Holy crap!
Throwing them in there, yeah.
That's
all right,
wild.
Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, flexing over here.
Well, my team, to be fair, my team was like made up of people who play a lot of games, and we just dominated. So
wow.
But yeah, like, I got my arms up, Seth, because you pull the Joy-Cons up and wave them around
motion, like,
to actually get you to wave your arms around, and that's how you signify that you want to pass, because you have to do that to receive the pass properly from your teammates, to like catch the ball. But then you just run up to the basket, just shoot those 3-pointers.
Shoot it.
As long as I was looking at the basket, I got it almost every time.
How many people are in their home playing this by themselves going,
woo!
Yeah.
Over here.
Oh, but that's what the camera's for, Lachlan. It's so that we all have our cameras, our Nintendo cameras on, so people can see we're doing this.
Do we really? Do we need it? Is it necessary?
Yes. Well, that's why Seth and I bought our cameras.
I mean, I will say though, like we had a cool moment. Everybody like felt kind of evenly matched with us, and we had like a very kind of hype moment where I had the ball, I passed it to somebody. It's tied up 6-6. There's 10 seconds left on the clock. I pass the ball over to the other person, and they drop it. They pick it up, and I'm like, oh my god, make the shot, and they make a 3-point shot buzzer beater. And
look at that.
And it's like slow motion, like they know what they're doing, and they make the shot. We get it, and we won. And everybody, the Nintendo reps are freaking out. Everybody's cheering. It felt awesome. And I was like, man, like this game has some juice in it. You know what I mean? Like there is it has something here. It just needs to be fleshed out, you know, 100%. A little bit more.
Yeah.
You know,
like I would be interested to see what Drag X Drive 2 would look like.
Yeah,
because I think there's a good concept there. It's just I think the execution of this one, you're right about the fact that it feels very tech demo, and to be fair, we just don't know what the rest of the game entails. Like, is this all there is to it? Are there more modes? Can you play more than 3-on-3? Like what are you doing in this game besides just 3-on-3 games?
And I tried to get some info out of the Nintendo rep. They would give me nothing.
I asked. They didn't know. So
they would give me absolutely nothing. No word on all we know is vaguely summer. It's supposed to be coming out, and they're like, they said like, make sure to keep an eye on Nintendo.com for the latest information.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why they gave us the QR code on the back of our badges to go look at that. You know?
That's right. Well, also, Ryan, I don't know if you had this experience too. The Nintendo staff had to abide by like the funny, like, so here's Kirby and the Forgotten Land Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Star-Crossed World. Like they had to say the full title.
They did. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, that rules.
Yep.
So
that sounds fun to memorize, but you know what? After 3 days of doing those events, Seth, they probably got it down pat.
They were in good spirits, man. But yeah, Dragon Drive, it's cool. I wish it was more fleshed out, but still, it's neat. I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I gave it a chance.
Yeah. Same.
Where do you want to go next, Ryan?
Now that those are the games we overlapped with, Seth. So now we can talk about our individual experiences. So I think we should just go back and forth. So
okay. Yeah.
I'll start us off because I know Yabe was asking about this one earlier. Nintendo GameCube on NSO. Yes. I'm going to talk about this experience. First of all, they give you a timed demo for it, but in the timed demo, Seth, in the exact time I played the timed demo, I was able to beat all of Soul Calibur 2 and roll credits on it. In the arcade mode. I played a full game of arcade mode, got to the end of the credits, and then that's when the thanks for playing.
Amazing.
And the dude, the rep told me it didn't come up because I beat the game and got to the end of the credits. That was just the timer running out naturally after I beat the game.
Yeah.
So I played it because I didn't play Zelda because I was like, I can't go in and change the controls. So
sure.
I don't want to play Zelda or anything that involves controls. And then someone next to me was playing F-Zero, so I didn't want to play that. So I was just like, okay, I'd play Soul Calibur because I love Soul Calibur and just to get a sense of how this controller would play. And first of all, the GameCube controller felt great to play. I will say it's not as clicky as the normal GameCube controller. That's kind of my only complaint of it because it does feel the shoulder buttons feel a lot closer to the Pro controller shoulder buttons.
Okay.
But for the most part, it felt like I was playing with a GameCube controller, which it's very much in line with the other NSO controllers that we have. So I really, really enjoyed that. And then just playing Soul Calibur 2, it looked very pretty. I could play it in 4:3 or 16:9.
I love that.
It was all smoothed out. So it looked really good upscaled on the TV. No latency, no bugs or problems I ran into. Again, I went through all of arcade mode and had no problems playing it. So I had a lot of fun playing with the GameCube mode. But I didn't get a chance to play the other ones because it would have required more steps, and I wanted to play other things. But I think the GameCube service is going to be pretty good because also, like I said, I was watching other people play F-Zero, Wind Waker, and some of the other games, and they all looked great. Like someone next to me was also playing Strikers, which also looked really good too, which we know is coming later to the NSO service.
That's interesting. They had Strikers there, but that's not one of the launch titles.
We saw that actually on Treehouse though too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not a launch game. They told me that at the thing too. They confirmed it's not a launch title, but it'll probably be the first one that's out.
Yeah,
after
probably
the initial run. Yeah.
It was very funny that they had it set up like. But yeah, I saw like people playing it. It looked beautiful. Like they did a great job upscaling these games. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I think they did just as good a job as the other consoles, and the GameCube controller feels great. Like, I'm definitely buying that GameCube controller the second I can buy one. And yeah, I think it's a great addition. So there we go.
Yeah.
GameCube. I know that was kind of like the boring one too, but I wanted to at least talk about it a little bit.
I'm glad you played it. If I had more time, I probably would have played that. Because as it turns out, I ended up, I'll talk about this next because it's another quick thing, but like one of the ones that we played, they didn't even stamp us for. They were kind of like,
oh, here we go.
All right.
I'm excited for this.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, I guess.
It's this game that I can't see is referring to.
I can't see was referring to it, the tech demo game. And yeah, man, like it's, like it's neat, but like I don't know why they're charging $10 for this. Like really, the overwhelming sense playing this is like, yeah, this really should just be like a pack-in game. You're kind of set up on like a Switch 2 and you're walking around with your little avatar here talking to people. Eventually you make your way to like these mini games. I think my wife, so this is like find the biggest rumble mini game on a line, and what you do is you have the Joy-Con in like mouse mode, and you're just moving it left and right, trying to feel where it's rumbling the hardest, and so you're getting it like as close as you can to where it rumbles the hardest. So that was one of them. Here she is, trying to find.
Excuse me. Yes, hi, big fan. You said rumble the hardest.
Yes, rumble the hardest.
Okay, that's all. That is all.
That is what he said.
I could have talked about the vibration if I wanted to really go there, Locklith, but I know that would have been too much. This actually was one of the cooler games. Dodge the spiked balls.
You got to watch out for those spiked balls, Locklith.
Wait a minute. What?
So you're in mouse mode and you're playing as a little UFO. And some spiked balls are coming down on the screen, and you're just it feels like a little Flash game or something.
Like Locklith, why wouldn't you want to dodge the spiked balls? Like those look painful.
Yeah, I guess, sure.
Like how'd they get spiky like
that?
What? Yeah. And so like she's messing around with this. Eventually she's like, "Can you help me?" It's but like so these games are kind of like, and they give you medals depending on how well you do. It it actually it unlocks like advanced versions of the games and stuff like that. It's kind of neat, but again, it should really be a pack-in. Like the idea of them charging $10 for this is crazy. Like even if this was just included with NSO or something, I don't think anybody would complain. But I just can't imagine paying for this, you guys.
It has less meat on the bone than Astro Playroom, and that was free with every PS5.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So. There's not a whole lot to say about it. If you want to, pick it up, I guess fine. But it's pretty inexcusable to not just bundle this thing in.
Yeah, at our event, like no one was walking up to Welcome Tour because again we only had 6 slots and no one wanted to waste a slot on Welcome Tour. I'm afraid. So Seth, I'm glad you did the due diligence of the team.
We did
play Welcome Tour, so at least someone played it. But
yeah, we did it. What was next for you, Ryan?
So next, Seth, I want to talk about the game that I think was the showcase for me for mouse controls.
Okay.
And that was Sid Meier's Civilization 7.
Oh, hell yeah.
Civilization 7
has popcorn over there. She's ready.
She's ready for me to talk about
I texted my parents and said, "Can you bring me popcorn, please?"
Aww. It's adorable.
Let's go.
But Sid Meier's Civilization, Seth. First of all, you can play with console controls like normal if you want to. But I felt like playing this game, I felt like I was just playing the PC version of it. Where, because one of the things about Civilization is I played it on PlayStation 5. That was the version I decided to get this time around. And the controls are not great. It's sometimes very hard to click on very small things to get like the joystick, getting the cursor on like the right thing to click on. Especially if you're like doing stuff in your towns, it's very annoying to click around and do stuff in that game. But man, with the mouse controls, it made it so much easier to do anything in that game. Like it felt so much better to play than the normal console version. And the best part is, as well, Seth, is that unlike the Switch 1 version of Civilization 7, which one's okay, this one looks very similar to the PS5 and Xbox versions.
Oh, great.
But it runs great. So this actually seems like a really good version of Civilization 7. Like if people are into the Civilization games, if you didn't grab it on one of the other platforms, I actually think that this version is going to be the best version to play with the mouse, especially if you want to play with the mouse, because I think the mouse controls really made a big difference. Like I sat there and played the game for like 20 minutes, and it felt infinitely better to play than playing it on PlayStation 5. For that reason.
Nice. That's good to hear, man. Well, I'll say too, so we had like in the free play area, let me see if I can remember all these offhand. There was Kirby, Botwa, Totkey, Dragon Drive, Yakuza 0, GameCube NSO, Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Split Fiction, and Cyberpunk?
Yep.
Is that it?
You got them all.
And Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party with the cameras.
Yeah. And I did play that. I'll talk about that in a second, but I think that's everything. So we could play all of these things. So I'm glad that you played some more of the third party stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I especially as like a normal, like a console gamer who plays a lot of PlayStation 5, like I wanted to play them for comparison's sake. And we'll talk about that with Cyberpunk and Street Fighter, which are the other two I played in a second.
Hell yeah.
But yes.
Let's go.
I definitely think like this was the game that showed me as well, to Bowser's point, that I think really could be a game changer for games like Animal Crossing, Sims, Stardew Valley, like a lot of the games that require like that would feel better clicking around and doing
totally
stuff.
Yep, that would be great. Well, I mean, even like I'm thinking about stuff like Mario Maker with this would be awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that was one of the big problems with the Switch version of Mario Maker 2 was just not having the touch controls.
Bring back Mario Paint with the mouse. You got it. It's right there.
I mean, we were getting that mouse accessory, Seth. Did you see the mouse
right.
accessory? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And they could even just sell it. They could literally sell like a wireless version of the Super Nintendo mouse. Yeah. And everybody would buy that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
yeah, that was Civilization. Like I said, I wasn't really seeing anything new in the game. Obviously, it was just Civilization, but in a new way. It was great to play.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I'll just kind of quickly mention. So my wife is a huge Mario Party Jamboree fan, famously. As is Lachlan, of course. We all love Mario Party Jamboree here, famously. Yeah. So my wife wanted to make sure that we played Mario Party Jamboree. They actually had two different setups. So they had a setup with the the new mouse control mini games, and they had a setup with the camera mini games, which are both exclusive to the new Switch 2 version, the Jamboree TV version. So we played them both. Annoyingly, they both cost a stamp. So
of course they did.
We had to get stamped. 2 of our 6 stamps were Mario Party.
It's fine. You didn't want to play any other games anyways, or at least that saved. That it made you feel less bad about not getting a stamp at Welcome Tour.
Right. So yeah, it was what it was. But it was cool. Like we, so we played with 2 other people, like a mother and her young son. That was another thing that just quick mention. It was really kind of heartwarming to see all of the people at the event. I saw people of all ages at this event. There was a guy playing Donkey Kong who must have been in his 60s. There were mothers and sons and children, and everybody was there, and everybody was just so stoked to be there. Not an air of cynicism in the room. The vibes were just really good at this event. Yeah. So
it was the same at the Toronto event too. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't understand any of the French content creators, but they seemed very excited to be there. They're like, "Thank you for playing my game," and I was, of course, the people that spoke English were excited too, and also lots of families there too, lots of people with their kids.
It was nice. Like it was genuinely really nice to see. But yeah, so we're playing Mario Party with a mother and her son. Destroyed them, unfortunately. I mean, just
like you do.
Them. Yeah, like you do. And so we picked some of the mini games with the mouse control. One of them is like set up like a desktop, and there's like these little files that you sort into folders. Some of them are like Bowser files that you put in the trash. There was one that was like the kind of wind up cars, like you pull back and then you let it go, sort of thing. There was one where probably my favorite one with the mouse control that we played. You spray paint these bob-ombs, and you're trying to like spray paint more than your opponent, but you have a finite amount of paint before you have to pick it up and shake it and refill your can, and you can feel like it feels like a spray can. Lockless laughing at my hand motion over there like a child. But yes, that's exactly it is what it looked like. Lockless.
You had to feel the rumble.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So that's what I did right there in front of everybody, and you had to feel the HD rumble in your hand while you did it. So we did that. We then played the we then played the camera mode, which is set up like Bowser's throwing like a concert. And shout outs to the Nintendo rep that was doing this with us, because it was my wife and I and 2 Nintendo reps playing 4-player. Yeah. And the guy was so like, he had real camp counselor energy, like he was just excited, and he was like, oh, who's throwing on this concert? And I'm like, it's probably Bowser.
Probably is.
And he's like, I think it probably is. And he's like, he's going to pick 4 lucky people from the crowd to play his games. Who's it going to be? And I was like, probably us.
Who's going to come on down and be part of the Price is Right?
Totally. So I will say the camera, I'm actually really impressed with the camera, like more than I thought I would be, because you gotta admit, like you guys have to imagine we're in a very dark room. Like all the lights are off, and in our experience anyway, very dark, and it picked up all 4 of us great. Like it did a great job at picking us all up. What you do is there's like 4 squares, and you just kind of like, before the game starts, make sure your faces are in the squares, and then you're good. Like it just kind of works, and it does a great job of like isolating like your body and everything, and like picking up like your entire like image. And I was pretty impressed with the way that all worked. It kind of worked flawlessly once we got in there. Some of the mini games were like, they're very simplistic. It has real iToy PS2 energy, to it. Like there was a game that we played that requires you to like just punch a question block, and stuff.
I saw
like
people
that.
playing that game, and I was like, that felt like y'all were playing the iToy to me.
It's very iToy vibes, but like I'm kind of into that, like in a weird way. And then at the end of it, at the very end of it all, you have to like move around and make a bunch of noise, like more so than the other team.
Right.
So we're all screaming and jumping and hooping and hollering and stuff like that. It was fun. But yeah, my big takeaway from that was just the camera is actually more impressive than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Especially cause like it probably will be able to isolate people a lot better, especially for like the full body mini games and stuff when you have like better lighting as well. So
yeah.
I'm glad you at least tried it out, because the main reason I didn't play Mario Party was just I was there by myself, and no one else was really in line for Mario Party. So like I would have just awkwardly went up and played by myself, and that would have been very sad. So
yeah. What was the next thing you played, Ryan?
So the next thing I played, Seth, was Street Fighter 6. I love Street Fighter 6 on other consoles. I wanted to see how the Switch version played. Turns out Switch version plays pretty good. I mean, it was already a pretty looking game on PS4 and Xbox One, and it looks better than those versions. In fact, I would say I would compare it to like the Xbox Series S version is what I would compare it to, graphically speaking. It runs at 60 frames per second, and someone saw me playing, and they walked up and they were like, "Hey, I got to throw down with you." So we had a couple of good rounds, but I just because they let us play best 2 out of 3, but I would just won 3 straight matches of Street Fighter. Because the other person let me play as whoever I wanted, so I just picked Cammy, and it was over.
That's all there was to it.
Yeah, I was like, you can pick any character you want if you want to. So
sorry, everybody, a real gamer's in the house.
Yeah, that's kind of how that works. But you know what though? Again, that's another game that just highlighted how good the Pro Controller felt to play. Because again, fighting games are all about really good controls. If you don't have really good controls, they're hard to play. And Street Fighter just felt really good to play on the Pro Controller.
Were you using the D-pad with that?
I mean, exclusively. If I'm not using my fight stick, Seth, it's always the D-pad. And it was very easy for me to pull off, my kick attacks, because KMB's all about kicks. So like cannon drill, all that stuff is super easy to pull off. I even pulled off a couple of supers. Easy peasy, no problem.
Nice. That's good to hear. I was worried about because like I played with the Pro Controller with several of these, but none of them really use the D-pad. So I'm glad to hear that the D-pad feels better on this.
I will also mention, Seth, that I also got to play a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive mode for Street Fighter 6.
Okay.
Which is the normal fighting mode, but it uses the Joy-Cons instead of the Pro Controller, and you punch using the Joy-Cons using motion controls. Okay. And depending on how hard you punch with the motion controllers, it does a stronger attack. So if you do this, it does like your strong attack, but if you do like a weak punch, it'll do like the weaker punch. And
punch him in real life.
And the best part, Seth, if you want to do a Hadouken, you got to do the Hadouken motion.
Oh, that's sick.
With the Joy-Con. It doesn't really work that well. And it's not a good mode. But
you have to actually do it?
Yeah.
You had to shoot a real fireball.
I had to shoot a real fireball. Yeah. They had for each character had very specific motions you had to do for the special moves. And I was just like, I played that mode once, and I was just like, I'm never playing this mode again because it's not great. But I wanted to at least try it because it's an exclusive mode to the Switch version. So there's that. Okay. Ultimately, like I think that's going to be like a really good version of Street Fighter. In fact, I think I'm going to end up picking it up because that seems like a game I'm just going to want to have portably, like just play it, like throw down with someone random, on the streets, or if that's the perfect game to bring to family events and stuff like that. Like my family loves fighting games, especially like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So, I think that's gonna be a big hit with the fam.
Hell yeah, I love that. Yeah. I might pick it up too. I kind of have been waiting for like some kind of Switch or Switch version of Street Fighter 6 to finally play it, and this might be when I finally pick it up because it is available at launch.
Yep.
So it's like,
and it's got all the DLC too. When you buy, although you can actually, we found out later, because you can pre-order Switch games now, like Switch 2 games now.
Yeah.
And you can purchase it without the DLC. They didn't tell you that before, but you can actually do that, and it's much cheaper if you want to go that route too. But
nice.
Street Fighter was great. I mean, I'm sold on it. So. Seth, what else did you play, my friend?
So the next thing that I played was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Star-Crossed World.
That's a mouthful, like in mouthful mode.
Hey, I see what you did there. It's a mouthful mode to say. Well, and so the first thing that I'll say when we first started playing this, my wife did record me playing this one, so I do have some footage. It's beautiful. Like seeing Kirby in this like in this resolution running this smoothly, like it's pretty remarkable the difference that it makes on Switch 2, like how much better it looks and runs. And the way that the Star-Crossed World stuff works is it's kind of like remixing old levels as completely new levels. So like this is just the first level of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like it's nothing too crazy, but as you can see, I'm picking up these like stars and stuff, and it's like creating these little these other paths, and this goes to some extremes as we get into the next area. Because if you guys played Kirby and the Forgotten Land, you'll remember you come out into this area. There's like the big skyscraper and everything, and I can't stress just the colors pop so well, and it just looks so beautiful on Switch 2. But everything kind of changes. Like the Awoofies like now have little crystals on their heads and stuff, and the coins turn to stars. Like the whole world is getting changed because of these meteors like falling all around. And what ends up happening is you go up the skyscraper and it's just like another level. Like it's not like just straight remixes of like the levels that are already there. It is like extra, like additional levels of the game. And it's neat. Like it's really cool. It's more Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like they didn't reinvent the wheel here or anything. There is a new mouthful mode edition that I get to here. Yeah, this is the spring mouthful mode.
It looks like a shake weight.
It does look like a shake weight. Yeah. Yeah, and it works really simply. You press A to jump and B to like smash down.
You don't just shake it like a shake weight?
You don't shake it. No, you just jump and kind of crash it down. And there's still plenty of like little things off the beaten path and little, objectives to do, just like in the base game. Instead of finding Waddle Dees in this, you're finding Starries. Let me see if I can find a Starry here in my footage, because they're these cute little guys. In fact, it might actually be at the very end. You might be able to see them. Yeah, here they are. You find starries now, so that's like the new, the new little dudes that you're trying to find.
Interesting.
And there's these cute little guys, these little starries, and yeah, it's more Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Like if you liked this game, it's still really good, and it's looking and running better than it ever has on Switch 2 with a bunch of new content. Like if you're a Kirby fan, the $20 upgrade for this is going to be kind of a no-brainer. I can't wait to play this on Switch 2. It's not coming at launch. I think it's coming in like August. Yeah. But still, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it.
So, do you have to beat the game first before you do all of this, or do you know?
That I don't know 100%.
I asked the reps and they couldn't answer it. So
Interesting.
We don't actually know right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not 100% on that, but it's super fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing if it's gonna have like even more like new mouthful modes or how expansive it's gonna be. But yeah, I like it. I liked it a lot. Like it felt great, and I'm excited to play the full thing. Yeah, Fully mentions I'm sad the DLC is locked to Switch 2. Yeah, so it is only going to be on the Switch 2 version of the game. But if you have the Switch 2, if you have the game and you want to upgrade. It's kind of a no-brainer.
So, fun fact, Seth. I haven't played Kirby in the Forgotten Land, but because we've talked about this on previous appearances on the show. I've been playing a lot of Kirby games this year, and this was one on my list to play this year of games before I could buy games again, because I have this game, but I've just never played it. But now that they've announced this, I'm like, well, I'm definitely buying that upgrade pack. And then I'm just going to play it on Switch 2 for the first time. It's going to be awesome. Like, I can't wait to play it.
It is going to be awesome. Yeah, you'll have a great time playing it on Switch 2. Like, it's like butter. Like, it looks and runs beautifully well. So, yeah, I can't wait. And that game rules. It's like one of the best Switch games. So, yeah
nice.
Definitely.
All right, cool. Seth. Final game for me. I'm sure this is probably your final game, too. Cyberpunk 2077. I went to the mature area. Ooh, mature. Because they had a mature kind of locked off area. It kind of reminded me of like if you went to a video rental store back in the day and they had like the curtained area, the movies for mom and dads over there. It kind of felt like I was going in there, because they had Yakuza 0 back there as well. The mature games. They wanted to keep it away from the kids. Cyberpunk, they kind of just drop you into a middle of mission. They give you all these late game weapons with I had like an auto seeking pistol and this machine gun that shot through walls. And it was just Cyberpunk. Because I've played Cyberpunk before on other consoles, but I really wanted to see how it played on the Switch, Seth. Well, turns out it doesn't play well on Switch 2.
Really?
It plays at 30 frames per second, which is fine.
Right.
But there was a ton of motion blur in the demo I had, which is just like, especially because you're turning the camera a lot and it can be kind of jarring and distracting. But I'm sure like in the full game, because there were no options in the menu, but the Nintendo rep told me there's going to be some graphical options that you could probably tweak some of that stuff in the full game when it comes out. But in the demo that I had, that's what I had to work with. And overall, it's more Cyberpunk, but it's disappointing when playing it against the other versions, because it is like it is such a downgrade. Like, I almost wish there was like a performance mode where even if it looked worse, having it at that 60 frames per second makes actually a big difference with that game. But it's still Cyberpunk, and I think like again, this is one of those games. It's kind of like Skyrim in that way, where I think like playing it portably is going to be like such a fun way to play through Cyberpunk that I'm actually glad that it's coming to Switch 2. And I do hope they do open it up with some other graphical options that you can tweak, like maybe a performance mode of some kind, in order to actually get like a good frame rate. Or maybe it plays better handheld. I don't know. We only got to play it docked.
Did you play with like a pro controller? Or I was going to ask the same thing Rybo does. Can you do mouse mode?
It was pro controller only at the event.
Okay.
And not even all the buttons were enabled. So there were some buttons where they were just like, and that wasn't the only demo that was like that, Seth. Because Civilization, I didn't mention it, but none of the face buttons worked when in mouse mode. But I was told in the final game that they would.
Huh. Okay.
So
that happens sometimes at these events.
Yeah, that's just commonplace at some of these events. Like, not all the controls are usually there. So yeah, like I didn't get a chance to play it that way, but I don't think they've confirmed mouse mode for this game at all. Okay. I asked about it and the rep didn't know. and I don't think CD Projekt Red's mentioned it at all. But
Okay.
this is one of those games that a lot of people are excited about, though, Seth, because the full game is on the cartridge, so you don't actually have to download it, which is actually pretty cool. And yeah, if you've never played Cyberpunk before and you love like first-person role-playing games like Oblivion or Starfield, like I think you'll probably be at home with this version of the game. It doesn't feel as good to play as the other platforms, but I do think it's going to be at least like okay to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to at least try because I was just curious, like, because Cyberpunk was such a mess with Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what is this thing going to look like on Switch 2? And it's like, oh,
yeah.
it looked okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like similar to what we got from Xbox Series S. It's kind of what I would compare it to.
I think that's a good comparison just in general. Because I mean, I did walk around and kind of look at even the stuff that I didn't play. I wanted to at least like kind of see what was up, Yeah. And like I saw people playing Split Fiction, for example, and like you can tell it doesn't look as good as it does on like PS5.
Yeah.
But
Hogwarts Legacy was the game I saw there that I really had that feeling for as well.
Right. Like it doesn't look as good, but like it's certainly like it is not the gulf of difference that it used to be on like the like Switch 1, of course.
Of course. No, for a game like that though, it's not even so much the looks as much as just playing at 60 for that type of game is just so much of a smoother experience. And that was the only disappointing part. So like I almost would rather the game look worse but run better.
Oh, I will. The game that I didn't get to play that I wish I did was Hades 2. Hades 2 looks awesome on Switch 2. It
had really long lines at my playthrough, so I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not going to wait in line for Hades 2. I'm going to play some other stuff. But you're right. It looked really good on the TV that they had there. But yeah, Cyberpunk. I had to give it a shout out.
Very good. Well, I've got one last one, and this will be pretty quick. I didn't get any footage of me playing. I actually played it in handheld, but I couldn't record myself playing it in handheld, so I got some B-roll of some other guy playing it docked. I got to play a little bit of little Botwa, everybody.
All the way back.
Nintendo Switch 2 version of Botwa, and this guy's doing essentially so when you get to the demo station, the rep asks you if you've played the original version of the game before or not, and that determines which like save they load up for you, which is funny. So I told them that I did, and so they did what they did with this guy too, which is they put me into a like kind of late game save in the Korok Forest from Botwa, which famously, if you guys have played the original game, ran like garbage on the Switch 1. Tons of slowdown and stuff. And so now you play it on Switch 2, and the video really isn't even doing it justice, especially not like in handheld mode where it looks so vibrant, it looks so beautiful, but it's also running at 60 frames now. So like, I can't really explain it. Like it feels weird. Like it feels wrong. It feels like when you see people that like mod the game to like work on PC or something, that's what it feels like. Yeah. Like wait, like this game shouldn't run this smoothly. Like what's happening here? But it looks and feels great. Right next to there was only one station for this, and right next to it was a station for Hotkey. Also looks and runs great. And look, man, like it's the kind of thing where I'm like, man, like this feels so much better. It almost makes me want to just jump in on Switch 2 and like at least mess around. Yeah.
Well, so I got news for you, Seth. My sealed copy of Botwa will be opened. Well, not Botwa, sorry, Hotkey will be opened. Will be open when the Switch 2 comes out because
you're gonna have a great time.
Play that mode. Yeah, I've never played that game.
Great. Yeah,
I didn't even get to the part where I have to open a map. I just didn't play it.
Yeah, no, it's running great, and they of course have all the new features and stuff with the new smartphone app, the Zelda notes. We didn't get to mess with any of that, but it looked and felt great, and it was cool to see the game running at that fidelity. So yeah, cool. But that was all the stuff I played. That was all the stuff you played, Ryan. We do have a couple of other miscellaneous questions here.
Absolutely, let's get to them.
Kind of sprinkled in here. Savoy Prime says, hey y'all, please talk to me about Metroid Prime. We did, of course. Do you feel it will be the best of the Prime series from what you got a taste of at the event, or is it too early to tell?
It is definitely too early to tell, but I think it has a chance of rivaling the top.
Yeah.
I think it has a good chance of being like up there with Prime 1, and Prime 3 is my second favorite of the trilogy. So I think it's I think it could fit neatly between those. Might even be better than Prime 1. Who knows? I'm open for them to impress me, Seth. But
I'm ready. My heart is open. I'm ready to be impressed. Yeah. Captain Awesome in the chat says, do you guys think we'll get the tickets discount again? There's been absolutely no mention of that. Yeah, who knows? I personally, I'm kind of like, probably not, honestly.
I think maybe they'll do it like 2 years into Switch 2.
Yeah.
Like I think they'll do it down the line, but definitely not at launch. No.
Right.
They want you to pay $100 for Donkey Kong in Canada.
Yeah, I'm kind of at this. I'm like, I don't think things are getting cheaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Microsoft just announced today they're doing $80 games, so
yeah,
it's only going to get more expensive.
Yeah, we will see. There's a question here from Kevin Ainsworth. Can he take off Donkey Kong's overalls in Bonanza? # make DK pantsless again.
I think in the main game he'll probably have other costumes, but in the demo, we had to play with the overalls. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, he did have pants in the demo that we played, but yeah, it's been heavily implied that he will have outfits.
Yeah. Also, I remember, speaking of DK, Seth, someone asked the question earlier if we unlocked the little purple dude. We did not unlock the little purple dude in the demo.
Yeah, in the demo, in the second part that they bring you to, the Odd Rock is with you, but like the actual cutscene of like discovering them and stuff, no, we didn't get to do that.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's all the miscellaneous questions. I think we got everybody. The final one here is from Fulia. In traditional Nintendo fashion, I ask, so what do you think?
I mean, the event was incredible. I had a blast playing the Switch 2. I thought it was really well run. Like, shout out to, once again, the reps at Nintendo Canada. Yes. First of all, for inviting us. But then second of all, for putting on an amazing event. And it also just sounds like it was really well run, no matter which one you went to, whether you were in Dallas, like Seth, or here in Canada, like myself. They were all, it was the same experience across the board, and it was a great experience regardless of who you were, I think. And everyone I talked to that was there had a great time too. So, yeah, I think it was a great experience overall, and I'm so glad we got a chance to try the Switch 2, and it just gets me so excited, Seth. Only a month away. I can't wait. Yeah.
I can't wait. Y'all, don't be too jealous of us, because like now we know what we're missing, and it makes the wait even worse.
It really does.
I'm like, well, I just want this thing.
I honestly probably shouldn't have played Metroid Prime 4, Seth, because that's even farther away than the Switch 2 launch, and I'm just like, man, it's so far away from that game.
Yeah, but I was very pleased with the event itself. I'm with you. I thought it was very well run. I think the Switch 2 itself is a great premium feeling device. The Pro Controller 2 was amazing. Had a great time with just about everything that I played. They should bundle in the welcome tour with the thing. Other than that, I feel really good about it, feel really strongly about it. And again, the vibes were just great. And I will say, Ryan, did you get some swag as
I got
you
nothing.
left? You got nothing?
We didn't have anything at the Toronto event. You had to win the swag.
Interesting. So
if I would have come in first in Knockout Tour instead of second, I would have gotten stuff.
Oh, that sucks. Well, we didn't have anything like that, but as we left, they cut off your bracelet, and they give you a little bit of swag. So first of all, they give you a little Nintendo Switch 2 sticker, which I have here.
Yeah.
But also, they give you a backpack.
Yeah.
This like Switch 2 backpack, which is actually a pretty nice backpack. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Like for a free giveaway, it's a solid little backpack. And my wife and I each got one. And you'll find this on eBay. And no, I'm just kidding. It's nice. It's a good, like, pretty decent quality backpack, all things considered. So
I wonder how much people are actually selling those on eBay. I'm gonna have to check.
I have no idea. Yeah, but
because you know, Seth, that they will be there.
Yeah. Raibo says, I got that prize for dunking on that poor kid in Mario Party. Yeah, they said, you own that kid, so have this backpack.
oh, Seth, you want to know how much they're going on eBay for right now?
How much?
Currently, they're going for $222 Canadian.
Oh, okay.
And that's what people are buying them for. So yeah,
I'll slide
actually
in
no,
my
there's a
DMs
sold
if y'all
listing
want
for $300. Oh, with $80 shipping. Wow.
Y'all want to pay me some money to get this backpack? Y'all can slide in my DMs if you want to. I can be bought. I can be bought for sure.
Yes.
But yeah,
Everyone has a price.
Everyone has a price. That's right. Well, again, great time, great experience. Ryan, I appreciate you for comparing notes with me. And Lachlan, I appreciate you for eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for hanging out, Lachlan.
I was part of the audience. I was just listening.
The live in studio audience. Well, before I ask you guys for the plugs and all that and the sort of final sign offs, if you'll allow it, I would love to go ahead and thank our patrons before we wrap up the jumbo stuffed episode of the Nintendo Drive tonight. Thank you all so much for, first of all, for watching, hanging out with us live as we talked about the Switch 2, but thanks for your support on patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Thank you to our ultimate producers, Jonathan Brown, whose music can be found at linktree/pme.jib, and Technical Michael, who says, whether you're a Kevesi or Agnian, you're a Xenobabe at heart. We've got links in the show notes, so please show your love and support to our ultimate producers. Thank you to our platinum producers, Smokin Joe, the Captain, and Tim Paullin. And thank you to our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, Jan32, Ligerwoods 330, Mr. Giggles, OldMrFrump, Patrice Mallette, Peje EP, and Stephen Keller. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon. Again, CPG Days coming up this weekend, and Patreon support makes it all happen, man. So if you've ever been on the fence about supporting on Patreon, now's the time. Check out all the exclusive content we have over there. You can get a 7-day free trial if you want to, but your support really does mean the world as we build the future of carpool gaming, especially coming into this weekend. It really does mean a lot. So thank you guys so much for all of your continued love and support over there on Patreon. Okay, before I kick it over to Lachlan for like the physical and the engagement question and all that, Ryan, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, thank you, Seth. First of all, thank you for having me on the show tonight. It was super fun to also talk notes about Switch 2. And it's always fun to hang out with Lachlan, of course. So, of course, you can always find me in the Discord at Ryan Turford. I'm not on social media, but I am in the Discord, so you can come chat with me there. Even though I know I'm not in the Discord all the time, still say hello. It's all good. I'm always around. Especially now that the election's over. Also, you can also find me on backlogged.com as Ryan Turford, where I log all the games I've been playing this year. In fact, Lunar 2, Seth, was the 30th game I finished this year. So I've been that's where I've been keeping my tally of games I've played this year. So I'm currently on pace to do 100 games this year because I'm a crazy person. But yeah, so you can find me there. Also, you can find me if you would like to add me on a friend on Nintendo Switch, of course, especially with that Switch 2 coming out pretty soon. You can add me on there with at SW8390-1222-8730, just like Eric Lindros.
There we go. There it is. Thank you very much for that, Ryan.
Those are all the places you can find me on the internet.
Awesome. Lachlan, where can people find you on the internet, my friend?
Y'all can find me at YouTube. Wow. I have to clear my throat.
Gotta get the popcorn out of there.
Yeah. Got the popcorn in there. Haven't been talking very much. It's actually been kind of nice, you know?
You
y'all
just chill. You're hanging out.
Straight up chilling. I texted both my parents and said, can y'all do me a favor? Can you bring me popcorn, please?
I mean, it would have been, you actually could have put up the BRB sign on your camera, and then you could have just walked away and got
popcorn.
I could have. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got my popcorn. I got my Coca-Cola Classic. But y'all can find me here on the YouTube at Lachlan or on Blue Sky as well. You can find me in the Discord. And you can definitely find all of us this weekend at CPG Days because that'll be a super fun time. Check out the merch, not only because the spring collection is something that I designed, but you can get what Fee has been designing. And that CPG Days t-shirt looks pretty nice. Actually, the mug looks cool too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It looks like a Saved by the Bell mug, which is exciting.
It does. That's yep.
The Saved by the Bell vibes are what a lot of people are kind of calling out.
It's like that 80s, bowling league type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, y'all, not to derail too much, but Fee has been really working her ass off on CPG days. Like, huge shout outs to Fee. Y'all don't even know like the full extent of everything she's been working on. Y'all will find out soon, but she has done so many designs. She's just drawn like her pen's on fire over there.
I don't actually know if she sleeps anymore, Seth.
I don't think she does. Yeah, I don't
I'll
think
get
she
pings
does.
at like 1:30, 2 a.m.
Yeah. So she's busting it out over there. Y'all have a lot to look forward to at CPG days, and a lot of it is thanks to her. So please be excited about that. As for me, you can find me in the Discord as well. I'm $2 Hero on Blue Sky. You can add me on Switch, SW4112-8061-3454, of course, just like Eric Lindros. Thank you all for doing that. Locklith, you got a physical for us?
I do. So I went not only to GameStop to turn in my Switch Lite to get $100 off of my Nintendo Switch 2, but I realized that there's a Barnes & Noble in the mall. I'm still getting used to things over here. So I went to the Barnes and the Nobles, and I purchased a book.
Oh, cute.
Ooh.
Was that
it's
Wolf
called
Children?
Wolf Children, yes. So it's about a mother who meets a guy before she's a mother, of course. It's a girl meeting a guy, and then he passes away, unfortunately. And he was part wolf or maybe full wolf. I don't know. He's no longer in the picture, and the children are like little wolf
furry
kids.
Yeah, okay. All right.
They're cute.
I was gonna say I know that anime. I haven't seen the book version, but
Yeah, I've been curious as to actually watching it, but I saw the hardback cover manga of it in the store, and I was like, well, this is the time. Is the time.
I was gonna say you just lit up the chat. You know, Fulia.
Everybody's talking about it here in the chat.
Hey.
Wolf Children. I've never heard of it, so.
This is, I guess I was sleeping on it, but I'm not going to sleep on it because I'm going to literally be in bed reading it as soon as we
Let's go.
finish. Yeah.
I love it.
But
Okay.
if that is all, thank you all for hanging out with us for tonight's episode of the Nintendo Drive. Next week is episode 200.
Yes.
So get your excitement, your hype, and your memes ready for after CPJs is over. But if you haven't liked that stream already, bump that like button if you haven't, and fuel this carpool in the comments below with, I guess, which game would you want to use the mouse mode for? Like, which one do you see utilizing it in the best way? And also, are you just as angry as the rest of us that we have to spend $10 on a game that should be free? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. For Ryan, for Locklith, for myself, this has been the Nintendo Drive. We'll talk to you next week for episode 200. Love you very much. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Nintendo Drive. Now, before you drive off, be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us at Carpool Gaming on socials. Don't forget to check out our awesome Nintendo Drive merch on carpoolgaming.com, and you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, where you'll unlock all sorts of exclusive content like the Nintendo Drive post show. Links to everything are in the description. See you next week!
D